We live, we in effect, we in the place to be right here on YouTube, your favorite channel, Player's Choice. I'm here with the good guys, Chill Town Hoops, Mars Talk Sports. We got a good episode coming for you guys. Right from the top, obviously yesterday, we watched Team USA play against Australia. Team USA was able to pull it out 98-92, but Australia did make it an interesting game late in the game. Can I get you guys' thoughts and recaps and reactions to this game?
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in, to be quite honest with you, Ron. Because if you look at Australia's crew, first of all, I didn't know that. I didn't know that Green was Australian. I did not know that he was on the Australian team. That was news to me. But if you look at that Australian team, the action for me was the most impressive thing. And when you get a crew like Team USA who's just gotten together, I think training camp opened up on July 3rd or something like that. Around that time. So we don't really have a lot of continuity. That Australian team, the action that they run, the pin downs, they got this action that they run with. You got a dribble handoff, a pin down on the strong side, by the way, a dribble handoff, a pin down, and a cross screen, and then not only a cross screen, but a pop to the mid range, all in like 8 seconds. When you're doing that on a consistent basis, and you got a defense that hasn't been together, that doesn't communicate, you're going to eventually get back in the game. If you keep running action like that. At Team USA, one of their main problems was they don't communicate on defense because they don't really know each other. If you're throwing units together like this and you don't really have that continuity, and you got a team like Team Australia that looks like they've been together for a long time, and Josh Giddey is actually looking like who I thought he would look like. The problem is that he was running with Shea, but that's another conversation for another day. But I feel like what Team Australia did more than anything was show continuity. And they showed that if you keep playing, you'll get back in the game. Keep the ball moving, keep people moving, and it just looked fantastic. And I think that it really showed a chink in Team USA's armor about how dysfunctional they are at this point. Not necessarily that they're off the rails, but they got communication issues, they got transition issues. And when you run into a team that's moving the ball like that has a little bit more talent, I think Team USA could give them more problems.
Thoughts on this game, Mars?
As a non-American, I'm gonna speak from the Australian perspective because
see, you got the rest of the world, bro.
Yeah,
you're just representing everybody. All right.
I mean, not that I'm an Australian.
How British of you?
Fact.
Is that true? I don't want to interrupt you, Mark, but is that true?
That Joe Bryant died?
Is that true?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Let's definitely get a moment of silence for the great Jelly Bean Bryant. Hope he rests well. And I hope, him and his dad are up there having a good time seeing each other again. Absolutely. Mars, as you were saying?
Yeah, not that I'm rooting for Australia or anything, but I mean, if we're probably going to talk about what USA did good. So, Jock Landale looked good, just for my own personal pride of the Rockets. Jock Landale looked good. I like that. But I think Australia, they don't have much outside shooting. Well, guys didn't shoot. They didn't shoot a bunch of threes. So the only guy who I know who can shoot on their team is the one Houston just signed, McVay. I know he won like the Finals MVP in the NBL.
Houston just signed him?
Yeah, on a 2-way contract. Yeah, so I heard about him.
Y'all poaching Australia now.
Him and Jock Landale, we colluded. But Dyson Daniels looked really good.
Very good.
Yeah, and I've been trying to say that giving him up to Atlanta, I mean, I think you're gonna miss him because he's a great defender, he's a smart player. And if he can figure out just the spot up 3-point shot, like that's a very valuable player. Like he's playing excellent defense, picking up full court night It's like 92 feet in FIBA, but 92 feet. And then just on offense, I mean, alluding to what Chill said about the action they got going on, it's like everyone's just on the same page in terms of who's running what, where the spacing, who needs to be where, and then just recognizing open space and playing off of it. Whereas USA is like, we got a bunch of guys who can create advantages. We're getting 2 on the ball at consistent times, but the ball just moves so slow. It's like I'm watching like someone gets 2 on the ball and then you swing it to like someone in the middle of the floor, but then they got to scan the floor. I'm not gonna lie, I'm low-key coming for Joel Embiid here, but like you get the ball in the middle of the floor and then he's got to look, and then the advantage just disappears. And like if they just move the ball quicker, they beat teams by 40. Like that's how it feels if they just move the ball quicker.
Can I ask though, is that a product of, because I know Chill, you always say like these teams play together, and that's true to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But Team Australia is starting Dyson Daniels and Josh Giddey.
Mm-hmm.
These are 2 fairly young guys. I think they're both 22 Mars. So you can't say that they've just played with Patty Mills forever. You can't say they played with Joe Ingles forever.
Right.
They haven't played with Jock Landale forever. These are 2 fresh guys that are in a starting lineup.
Right.
But can you say that that's a product of essentially these guys' role in the NBA, the roles that they play on in an 82 game season from night to night? Keep in mind, Anthony Edwards, he's a ball stopper because he's the number 1 option, and we can go down the whole line. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. These guys all get the ball and the offense stops. Jason Tatum, they get the ball and the offense stops because they're the number 1 option.
Well,
whereas guys like Dyson Daniels, he has to move without the ball. He has to learn how to play without the ball. Same with Josh Giddey. Same with some of these other Australian guys. They play in systems that it's their job on a night-to-night basis to move without the ball and play off the ball.
Well, 2 things. We just seen him starting with. We just seen Dyson Daniels, and who was the first guy that you mentioned? I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey. I'm sorry. Josh Giddey and Dyson Daniels. We just seen him starting with Team Australia. Now we have no idea how long they've been working together, and I'm sure that they've been working together for a long time. Because I don't think that you have that kind of continuity, and you have that. I just don't really feel like you have that kind of continuity and that kind of cohesion. And if you just showed up not too long ago, it seems like they've been together for a while. The way that they work.
They haven't.
How long have they been together?
Well, first of all, quick correction. Do you know that Dyson Daniels just turned 21?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah. So what we were saying earlier was they're both 22. Yeah, like I'm sure they played together at the youth level to some experience. They're familiar with each other's games, right? But most importantly, they're just really
I'm just talking about on Team Australia. That's what I'm talking. I ain't talking about.
You're talking about the men's national team, the
that's
senior
what I'm talking
team?
about. I'm talking about.
They haven't been alive. They haven't been alive long enough to be together for a long time. I mean, Josh was what, 22. Dyson just turned 21.
Right.
So I mean, you know what I mean? Like even if you have some familiarity from the past year, it's not like Steph and LeBron haven't played together. You know what I mean? It's not like these guys don't.
Games. I don't think that those 2 things are the same thing, though. Playing in all-star games, and as opposed to being 17, 18 years old, working out with the national team, playing with the national team, stuff like that. I mean, I think those 2 things aren't the same thing. When is the last time James and Steph Curry been on the court together outside of an all-star game?
They're 2 of the 10 greatest players of all time.
Right.
And they know each other's games implicitly. They played against each other. I mean, there's a certain element of this, like Magic and Jordan and these guys. They knew each other's games. They studied each other's games. When you have long playoff series with another guy, right? His tendencies. He likes to catch it on the left shoulder. Oh, he likes to catch it here. He doesn't like to catch. Like you understand the guy's game. You don't have to play together for a super long time. So my point is, like, I'm not worried at all about Team USA right now. Like, to be clear, they gave it 68 points in the paint. Yes. I think that was the stat. Like it was mind-boggling. It was a layup line, right? And yet
it really was.
And yet, did they ever lead?
No,
did Australia ever lead?
No, they were never. They were
so
never.
So to me, like, you know what I mean? Like, I look at it like it's a little bit of Celtics personality, right? Where like they're not doing what you want them to do, but they're doing what they want to do. Like we did this with the Celtics all year. We're like, oh, they're supposed to blow the team out by 40 and they're scrubs because they only beat them by 15. But it's like, yo, they know they can do whatever they want to do. They were not threatened by Team Australia at all in this game. If they clamp down, they probably hold them to like a 14-point quarter. If they clamp down, they got the defensive personnel. Like, I don't think people are giving enough credit to Team USA's defensive personnel, and also how many different ways they could probably play if they wanted to, right? They could probably play through Ant. They could probably play through KD. They could probably play through any one of these players and still win. That's crazy.
Which is fair, but I want to go back to what you talked about with knowing great players. But if I'm playing against a great player and I understand his tendencies, those two things are not the same as I'm playing with him. Because if I'm playing with him, now I got to take the mind of being a competitor. I got to turn that off and turn into being a teammate. So now I gotta change my game, as opposed to now I'm playing against him as a competitor, as a defender, how I see him get the ball, where I see him get the ball, where his spots are. Now I got to turn on now I have to turn on being a teammate and how to get him the ball, how that's going to translate to my game. That thing takes time. That's not something.
I think more importantly, it's on defense where that communication and role
that
rotation,
too, 100%,
right?
100%.
Steve Kerr's a Hall of Fame coach. You got LeBron. Like, you got nothing but Hall of Famers on this team. I think almost every single player on Team USA is locked for Hall of Fame, right? So these guys, like, they didn't get there by accident. They'll figure it out at some point. I'm not too worried about them. I'm also not like completely sold on them winning gold. I think we could talk about that at some point. But I think, like, if you look at, like, if they really wanted to, they really could have made a bigger deal out of this. I just don't think they really want to at this point. I think they're still trying to figure things out. They're moving lineups in and out. They're not trying to step on each other's toes a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, Jason Tatum's looking to pass a little bit more than he would. But when these games count, that defensive effort is going to go through the roof.
I'm not one of these people, Penn, who thinks that you should be blowing teams out by 40. No, I'm not saying that at all. You could beat a team by 10, and it could be a good quality win. I have no problem with that. But I just feel like when it comes to team like Team Australia, I admire the way that they play more than what Team USA did, the action that they ran, the continuity.
Have to play that way, though. If they don't play that way, they're going to lose by 50.
Of course, because they don't have the talent. 100%. They don't have the talent. They don't have the talent to compete with Team USA. Right. I'm thinking, when you run up on teams who have more talent, do they have that kind of ball movement? Do they have that kind of continuity to be a problem for Team USA? Because I can tell you right now, if you see what Team Australia did, how they were moving the ball, how they had Team USA off balance, how not necessarily gang rebound, but how good they were in transition. If we could get a team like Serbia, France, or somebody like Spain that sees that and recognize, okay, we're more talented than Australia. If we can move the ball a little bit more, to Mars's point, we talked about Team USA. If we can move the ball a little bit more, not only if we move the ball a little bit more, if we can get one or two more stops, we might not be as talented as them, but if we can get one or two more stops, maybe move the ball a little bit more and keep them off balance defensively, that could be the difference in us, not just competing. That could be the difference in us winning and losing the game.
Mars, you had brought it up about just kind of the different play styles and Team USA holding the ball. What do you think is the main factor for that?
Some of it is just not knowing where everyone's going to be at a certain time, which I think will improve. And then, like, another thing, which I think it can be, I don't know the mindset or anything, but this is why I think, like, Derek White's a good addition to the team, because I think you need guys who are used to being role players. Like, the responsibility of a superstar and a role player aren't the same. Like, there's guys who are better than Derek White, but are they as good of ball movers as Derek White? Do they understand that when I get the ball, I've got about 0.5 seconds to make a decision? It's not, I'm going to dribble, step back, create. Like, that's not my role. My role is to keep the advantage going. My role is, if I catch the ball and I'm open, I shoot it. If I'm not open, I move it. That's it. But when you got superstars, it's like, if I've got the ball and I'm not open, let me go create something so I can get someone else open. But role players understand their role isn't to do that. But once you got a bunch of superstars and now you got superstars trying to be role players, you're making them think the game in a way that they haven't thought the game before. Not because they're not good enough, but because, in fact, they're probably too good that they've never had to lessen their game. And I think there can be an adjustment to that. I'm not saying they'll never figure it out. And I actually think, like, Jason Tatum's actually been pretty good at that. But I think he's just used to playing in that role where he's not overextended. And I think that's what makes him so valuable. But you got other guys who are so used to being being the sole advantage creation on their team, that they can't yet, like within a week, just flip a switch and just turn into connective players. And that's why I think every team needs connective players. I think Dyson Daniels on Australia is very valuable for that reason. Australia just have a lot of those guys, like guys who just understand how to play their role. And then they've got Josh Giddey being their little floor general type. So shout out to him. But yeah, that's why
I don't think you give him enough credit, Mars. I think he's a lot better than what you give him credit for. I know that. This is what I'm saying, Mars. I know that him in Oklahoma City with SGA, it didn't look the same. One, the international game is way different than the NBA. Two, he has the ball in his hands a little bit more. I mean, I'm sorry, SGA has the ball in his hands more than Josh Giddey, who actually needs the ball in his hands. The other thing that I didn't realize with Josh Giddey, I keep forgetting, he's 6'8". He's not a small dude. 6'8", right? 6'7", 6'8" at the league.
Negative wingspan, but sure.
But I'm thinking about him just from an offensive standpoint. At the league guard, his ability to distribute, get downhill. He just looks so much better.
He gets downhill whenever he wants to.
Whenever he want to get to the rim, he could get to the rim. And him being on this crew, it's just opening up my eyes to what he could be if they gave him the ball, which I think they're going to give him the ball in Chicago. Now, him being on this crew, that's actually the way he wants to play. Being a primary ball handler with the ball moving. It's not the ball sticks to his hands with the ball moving, but him being the primary ball handler, he's the initiator. And his shot looks a little bit different in the international game than it does in the American game. And I think that's largely due to him having to hurry up and make shots. I don't think that he's pressed on this team. I think that he's more comfortable in that offense. Because he's more comfortable in that offense, I think he's more effective offensively.
I think I said mid-season, like everyone knows I've been very strong on the trade Josh Giddey train. Very, very, very strong. And I still stand on that. OKC needed to trade him. But I do very much recall saying he wouldn't look this bad in a different situation. I understood OKC.
I remember.
Yeah, OKC. I never said Josh Giddey was a bad player. I said he was a solid player being put in a role that made him look very, very bad. Now, do I think he's going to be an all-star or anything? Probably not, because I'm yet to see an initiator who can't shoot, can't play defense, and doesn't really put the defense under a lot of stress, become an all-star strictly off passing. But maybe. There's an avenue in which he can be a valuable player. But I do remember saying that OKC was definitely making him look worse. But he still has some very glaring flaws that are going to be a struggle to overcome. But he's not a horrible player. He has a good feel for the game. And he does have a little weird way of being able to just fumble his way towards the basket without doing any real dribble moves. He's just kind of if anyone's played 2K, he's left stick dribbling his way to the rim. Just no dribble moves, but he getting there. And then he can kick out and all those things. And then obviously those like out of bounds players, he's one of the best passers in the league when it comes to that. So shout out to him. But there is still flaws. He's not a very good scorer from anywhere. Even when he gets to the rim, he's not a great finisher. He's got a solid little floater or push shot he'll go to sometimes, but he's not a great finisher, not an explosive athlete, not really any in-between game. Can't shoot threes, definitely off the dribble, but even stationary really. Gets left wide open. Defensively, he's a nightmare. But in transition, defensive rebounding, and just passing in general, he's a good player. There's value in what he brings.
100%.
Yeah, there's value, but it's just you got to be in the right situation. And I don't know if you want to be a good team, if you're going to have the ball in his hands enough to where your team is going to be good, but he needs the ball in his hands to be effective. But can your team be great if your main ball handler is Josh Giddey? I don't know.
He's going to be a fantasy merchant, bro. He's gonna put up crazy numbers, and a lot of people are going to sell themselves on him. But lead initiation in the NBA or at any level is a privilege, not a right. Okay. Which means if the ball is in the hands of a non-shooter, your spacing looks completely different. Yeah, he has side angles as a big playmaker. It's great, right? But if he's playing 35 minutes for you, what's your point of attack defense like? Where can you hide him? You know, just from a team building philosophy, this is not the greatest thing. And if you're asking me, like, to poach one player off that team that I really like, it is Dyson Daniels. I've been super high on Dyson, like, since he was in the G League before that. And I have loved him. I remember just watching some of his workouts and it was revolutionary. Just I look for things with young kids at the AAU level and high school level that
Dyson Daniels a little bit more.
Yeah, no, he's really good, man. Like when I say like he has,
I mean, he was in UConn.
Y'all see, UConn.
He wasn't at UConn.
He wasn't at UConn.
He played for G League Ignite.
He played for G League Ignite.
That's what.
I'm thinking about somebody else.
You are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his one of the things I watch for with young kids is how do you pay attention when your trainer's talking to you, right? Like, are you kind of dialed out? Are you kind of looking around, or are you looking directly at him? Number two, I want to see how quickly you fix what he asked you to fix, right? With him, it was instantaneous, right? It was like fix. I've watched him live a few times. His defense, honestly, at the age of 20 is revolutionary. He's a better defender, absolutely a better defender than OG Anunoby at the same age. He is so freaking good defensively. So his only gap right now, I mean, and his ball skills are really good. His passing is really good. His defense is great. The only real hole in his game right now is shooting and volume. He doesn't shoot a lot, and he doesn't shoot well. So his shot is like a little bit funky sometimes. I could see that. But man, he's a hard worker.
He looked good last night, though. And granted,
a lot better.
He only shot 2 shots.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you this right now.
The 2 shots he shot looked very good. And he went 1 for 2, but
I won't say they looked very good, but they looked all right. I mean, it's an improvement over where it was.
That's what it looked good compared to what
it was before. And what I'm going to say is, DeJounte is one of my favorite players in the league. Off the court, one of my favorite players in the league. Like, really love that dude. But when they traded Dyson Daniels with DeJounte Murray and they got extra stuff, I'm like, the Hawks won this trade so bad. It's going to look really stupid in a couple years. The Hawks got a really foundational piece, and they got the perfect complement next to Trae Young. So just a little sidebar to give Dyson his love, because I feel like this is the type of player that a lot of casual fans, they miss. Because you look at the box score, he got 6 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and you're like, this guy's trash. Triple singles, right? It's just the value that he's providing when he's on the court. The problem right now is, again, spacing, negative spacing, and maybe that's less of an issue at the international game because the floor is shrunken down a little bit and the paint is a little bit more packed. So I don't know, but I think he's a really, really good player. I'm not necessarily buying the upside on Josh Giddey as being like a foundational piece on a title contender or anything like that. And I think the fact that the best talent evaluator in the league gave up on you on your rookie contract, and I'm not saying that's only because he's a scrub or something like that. You got to give something to get something. Alex Caruso is a hell of an asset. But if they really believed in him, they had about 30 picks they could have given.
Well, wait a minute.
Him.
2 things. Number one, Penn, I got 2 people confused. I was thinking about Hawkins from UConn. I know they were both on the same team. So I got
totally opposite players.
Yes, yeah. I got those 2 guys confused. That's my fault. And number 2, in terms of the talent, number 1, he's 21 years old. So he's still developing his game. It's not like he's been in the league 8-9 years.
We're talking about Josh?
Yes, he's 21 years old. He's a kid, right? So he's still getting better. Number 2, he was on a crew doing what he does. Somebody else on the crew does it better. So we can't have you doing something else. When we're gonna, and the same thing's gonna happen to the kid Topic too. I think Topic is gonna ultimately end up getting moved too, because he's another guy very much like a primary ball handler who needs the ball in his hands. When you got a guy like Shea, you already have that. And because you are, even though I think Topic is a damn good distributor, just like Josh Giddey is, but he needs the ball in his hands. When you got a guy who already needs the ball in his hands and as effective as Shea is, you can't have 2 guys like that on the floor because we're basically going to be bumping into each other. I don't think that they came off for Josh Giddey because they just gave up on him. No, what you provide, we don't need because we already have that. And what we do need, we traded you for that. A bigger, better wing defender in Alex Caruso. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think they gave up on him. He's not Kwame Brown or somebody like that where, you know what, this dude can't play and we got to move on from him. No, I think that they fulfilled the need that they had for not necessarily a better player, but for something that they needed.
First of all, completely 2 points. Number 1, let's put some respect on Kwame Brown's name, right? Sure. High schooler, played 10 years. And became a really, 15 years in the league? I thought it was 12.
Yeah, I thought it was 12, but I mean, I'll give him 15.
Whatever. I mean, honestly, at some point, Kwame Brown became one of my favorite post defenders in the league. I'll give him that. Didn't have hands, didn't play offense, didn't live up to number one. That's a different story, okay? But respect to Kwame Brown. Number one. Number two, respect to Nikola Topic, man. Come on.
100%. He's
Nikola
awesome.
Topic is not going to succumb to the same issues that Josh Giddey had. Number one, he is an elite paint finisher. I watched this kid more than any player in the draft. Him and Reed Shepard. I watched them the most. I had the most insight on him. Nikola comes from my country. I mean, no bias here. He was one of my 3 favorite prospects in this draft. He got injured, so he slipped to 12. OKC won the friggin' lottery, okay? He is an attack guard. He finishes well. He's crafty. And unlike Josh Giddey, like, he has an area on the court where he is extremely lethal, which is attacking the paint. Now, he'll get stronger, whatever. He loves the game of basketball. He's a great playmaker in the pick and roll. Like, that to me, that burst athlete, again, we'll see. After an ACL tear, we don't know. We don't know what he's going to look like athletically, but most guys recover at this age. He's 20, he's 19 years, no, 18, 19
he might come back
old.
more athletic.
I think he's 18. I think he was
Shit. And honestly, one thing, I trust OKC. I trust OKC so much to develop him properly, athletically. They have the best shooting coach in the league. And honestly, the one guy it didn't work for is Josh Giddey. But it will work for Nikola Topic. Nikola Topic has more shooting potential for sure. He has some work that he has to do to extend his range, but he is shot well, and he has impacted winning at the youth level in Serbia, and he's also impacted winning against grown men at the age of 18. So, I mean, I'm just saying he's a guy who can actually play off of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The problem with Josh Giddey is when he's not on the court, I often see his defender able to sag into the gaps and not have to worry about him. And then he doesn't cut well enough, or maybe he is cutting, but then he's cutting into existing space that is required for driving lanes. So he's just getting in the way all the time. And so when he's stationary in the corner, he's sort of negative space, right? And then when he touches the ball, he's not really able to do anything at a high enough level to really punish you. So it's not like, oh, okay, well, he's catching it with 4 or 5 feet of space and he's able to just blow past his man because he's so athletic. And then he's going to get into the paint and finish over 2 defenders because he's such a great finisher. It's just, he's kind of like a weird, like, one-way offensive player where it's like, okay, put the ball in his hands. He's going to do high pick and roll and he's going to find guys. But at some point in the playoffs, that's going to get schemed out. It did
get schemed out. It 100%
exactly
got schemed out.
Yes, and so I don't like this, the train of thought that we're running into, which is like, oh, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was just in his way. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
no.
Different class
I want
of player.
Keep going.
Yeah, he's a completely different class of player. And what I want to say is, like, I understand you're not saying like he got in his way, but rather like, oh, put the ball in his hands and he'll look like a better player. But I just want to say, let's not underrate how great the spacing is in OKC and 100%. How much worse it's going to get when you're playing with Matas Buzelis for 35 minutes and he's a non-shooter as well. So it's like, you start putting non-shooters next to non-shooters, suddenly the floor starts to shrink.
That
really
small. Yes,
that efficiency.
That
efficiency not mad at what Chicago got cooking for Josh Giddey.
Wait a minute.
With him being a point guard, I don't know if Zach LaVine's going to stay there, but Zach LaVine can space the floor. We all know that's one of the better things he does.
Yep.
Kobe White has proven that he can knock down the three. And I know you said Matas isn't a shooter. He went 4 for 8 the other night, and he looked pretty good in the G League. Percentages don't always tell the tale, but I think
as a shooter, he looked pretty good in the G League as a shooter.
Matas can knock down the three.
I think there was an adjustment. I think there was an adjustment period for Matas going from the high school to the NBA line in an off season. I don't think he's as bad of a. I think he shot like 26%. I don't think he's as bad of a shooter as 26%. But I don't think he's going to come in and be a shooter. I think teams are going to leave him, but I don't think he's as bad as 26%.
Bro, I don't care if you can hit a 3. I care if defenses guard you like you can hit a 3. It's a completely different equation.
I agree with what you're saying.
I think I brought this up in like the last show I was on. 37% high volume. That's the prerequisite to be guarded at the 3-point line. Because 37% is league average right now. It's like 36.9, I think, was league average last year. So if you're at 34, teams will leave you. If you're at 32, teams are going to ignore you. If you're at 29, which is where I suspect he'll probably be to start his career, teams are daring you to shoot at that point. And that really does complicate things for the other 4 guys on the court with you, in my opinion. So it's just like, to me, it's like, I don't want
better of a shooter than that. I don't think he's
I
gonna
doubt from day
look,
one.
I'm happy with Modest Bazaz. I think I had him like top 7 on my board. So I should have him top 6 just because of the size and playmaking and athletic abilities and whatnot.
I had him top 3. So I'm very high on Matas.
Great. I mean, I
Very
like the guy. And that dunk yesterday was savage. It was yesterday or the day before. It was savage. Like that stare down was crazy. But I'm just saying, for me, like, your spacing is going to be very complicated with Matas and Josh Giddey. And they just so happen to be 2 of your 4 foundational young pieces right now. So it's kind of like a clunky fit. But I don't think Chicago's thinking too much about that. I think they're more in like asset accumulation mode right now.
Ox, how you feeling about Dyson Daniels and Josh Giddey yesterday in the game versus Team USA?
I didn't watch that shit, Ron.
So, not talking about I respect it.
To be honest,
I'm not gonna waste your time. You know?
To be honest with you, Penn, I am interested. I don't know whether or not he's going to play this season, Topic, but because
he's not.
He probably won't play this, so he's probably not going to play this season. I'm really interested to see what he looks like, because you're one of the few people that has said he could be the best player in this draft. There's a couple of people who've said to me he could be the best player in this draft overall.
His upside is ridiculous, and
right.
And like, to me, it's like, I really care how much you care about the game of basketball. Like, do you love it? This kid has loved basketball since he was like 2 years old. Like, it is literally in his blood. If he's not playing, he's like demanding to play. This year is going to kill him, right? But the best thing that could have ever happened to him is that he went to OKC. I would have been so disappointed. When he was healthy, they were talk about the Wizards would take him. And I was like, please, God, let this not happen. Please let him not go to the Wizards and have to endure a year of Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, because that can kill a man's soul, right? But going to OKC, playing with Chet, playing with Shea, playing with J Will, playing with J Dub, oh my God, and playing under Mark Daigneault, man, the best thing that ever could have happened to him. And learning from Shea, I think is going to be great for him. I have zero doubt. Buy the stock. To anyone out there, if there's a stock on a player, if there's a market that I'm unaware of, buy his stock. Is like an all-time low right now. He's a really good player.
I'm just when I watched that game yesterday, because we were clearly on yesterday when the game was on, so I was able to catch it on replay. But to watch a guy like Josh Giddey, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, so when he gets to the Bulls, he's going to be a foundational piece. They're not trying to win games. Right, we know that they're not trying to win games, but what are they doing? Well, we get to see a better distributor, right? We get to see a guy with the ball in his hands a little bit more. We get to see him make a little bit more for guys like Kobe White, for Mateus, right? I think that they're going to move off of Zach LaVine at some point, even though he doesn't really have a lot of value right now. I do think that they're going to move off of him at some point. With them moving off of him, I think that them with Mateus, and I think they're going to move off Lonzo too. So with him, Mateus, and Kobe White, they're at least building something. So with Josh Giddey, now with your lead guard, I feel like the stuff that Mars, those flaws that he has, I feel like he can improve at those. I'm 21 years old. I can be a better ball handler. I can be a better shooter. Now, am I going to be a knockdown shooter? I'm not asking you to do that, but can I be a respectable shooter? A guy that I'm not the double team man. I feel like he can do that. And the fact that when he was in Oklahoma City, we already got a guy who's got the ball in his hands. Not to say that I want to make sure that I'm clear on this, and Penn already alluded to this. I don't think that he was in Josh Giddey's way. I just feel like Josh Giddey's game is more predicated to him having the ball in his hands, being the lead guard, the offense being initiated by him. With all of that space in Oklahoma City, the way that the ball moves, and with Shea, he's their guy doing that. And he's a much better player than Josh Giddey. If you put Josh Giddey in that kind of system with Josh Giddey being the primary ball handler, I think that we're going to see a different Josh Giddey in Chicago. I don't think Chicago's going to win a lot of games. I won't argue that. But with that being said, I do think that he's going to be much better.
Do you think they'll ever get to a point of winning games with Josh Giddey as a point guard?
I do think so because if I didn't, then I would have to be under the impression that he's never going to improve. He's just going to be the same player that he is today, that he's going to be in 5 years. That jump shot's not going to get better. His decision making is not going to get better. His ability to score around the rim isn't going to get better. That's the only way they won't get better if he doesn't improve. And if I think that he's not going to improve, what the hell's he doing here?
Didn't we say Chicago didn't have a shooting coach?
Until I think they just got one. If I'm not mistaken, I think that they just did. I think they just did. I think they just got one not too long ago.
Yeah, that's
but
what.
For a while they didn't have one, Moss. Yes, for a while they didn't have one.
He said they got the play development issues together in Chicago.
Yep.
But chill. Now, obviously, everybody should be working to get better, and I think Josh will get better. Things, but I don't think he would be the issue in Chicago. I think it's just kind of just team building, putting everybody together. Like what Josh brings to the table right now, I think proper parts and proper coaching or whatever, proper offense schemes and stuff like that, I think can remedy all of that. Like I think Josh is fine coming down here. I think Josh is already a good decision maker. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, obviously he can definitely improve on that 3 ball to make himself a threat to where people aren't sagging off. But as far as IQ playing off the ball, I think he's adequate.
All right, fellas. Big shout out to everybody that's watching the video so far. Make sure you hit that like button. Y'all know the drill. That's your only entrance fee, is to hit that like button. Big shout out to all of our members. Shout out to our Hall of Famers. You know who you are, but in case you don't know who they are, I got my man Kendall Daniels, Dorian Clayton, Mikhail, Cobra Son of Raditz, and Jerry Reality. Those are the Hall of Famers right now as currently stands. Y'all really holding it down. So big salute to y'all. If you haven't got a chance to check out the new merch, go to playerschoicemerch.com. Check it out. You can obviously get the rings because only when it matters, or you could take it light, but take it. And we got some other cool things over there too. So make sure you go to playerschoicemerch.com and check that out as well. And last but certainly not least, this is a call to action for everybody. Today is the absolute last day for you guys to join the PCL. Don't be like Mike. Don't be one of them dudes in the crowd that just be talking, yapping, loudmouth, typing with caps, talking about I want to smoke with you, I want to smoke with you, you can't guard me, you can't this. And then when it's time to actually hoop, you got flip-flops on. When it's time to actually hoop, it's I forgot my shoes at home. When it's time to hoop, it's like, I stubbed my big toe, I can't really get down today. Don't be that guy. Don't be the loud talking guy in the crowd. If you've been talking that smack this whole time, which we see you guys in the chat, and you got what it takes to come up here and compete and debate and talk hoop, if you actually know ball, scan this QR code right here below me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do you one better. Scan this QR code. And you're not just coming up here for fun. It's a chance to win $1,000. It's a chance for bragging rights. It's a chance to take Big Ox's spot on the panel. Look, he don't even want to be here. It's also a chance to win the PC belt as well. Scan that QR code. Join up. We start on the 24th. We'd love to see you guys there. Today is the last day, so if you're gonna sign up. Make that happen.
Would one of you bums come take me out of my misery?
People, boy, you want my spot? Sign up. Sign up.
These guys, they're chumps, Ron. They're scared. They're running from smoke. Just a bunch of
y'all. I got a couple super chats, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna move on to the next best topic. My man Angelo Comda became a member today. Big shout out to him. Tyrone Winston also became a member. Big ups to you. Brennan Irvin, shout out to Brennan, became a member today. Shani 2 times simply says salute. Appreciate you, Shani. Rambo E 1996 says salute panel. Call your dads and tell him you love him. Call Pops. For real, like life is short.
Pops do need love, yo. Pops do need love. I mean, we always talk about, moms are so awesome. I mean, when the last time we said, yo, Pops, thanks for knocking out this light bill. I appreciate it, Pops. That is food in the refrigerator. Thank you very much, Pops, for putting gas in the car. I mean, We don't shout Pops out nearly as much as we should. We don't shout Pops out nearly as much. I think Father's Day, if I'm not mistaken, I just found this out. I think Father's Day is ranked 21st on national holidays, behind Halloween. Number 1 and number 2 is Christmas and Mother's Day. So ain't nobody more important than Jesus and your mama. But then stuff like, you know, Halloween, Columbus Day is ahead of Pops Day. Come on, man. You shout Pops out. Come on, yo. Shout
Columbus
Pops.
has a day.
We don't even celebrate that no more.
Yeah, I didn't even know Columbus had a day.
Kids. Hey, L kids for celebrating Columbus over your dad. L kids for celebrating
Pops,
the Easter
man.
Bunny over your dad.
Easter. Shout out to Pops, man. For real.
Right.
Shout out to Pops.
Teddy Hart sent through a super chat. He said, "Rest in peace, Joe Bryant. Hopefully, Kobe's mom and Vanessa can mend their differences."
Only 69 too.
Lose your husband, lose your son, and lose your granddaughter in 4 years. Damn, man. That's some bullshit. That is some straight bullshit right there.
Mr. Steele said, although he was somewhat of a scumbag to Kobe, RP Jelly Bean Bryant.
That first part was not needed today
at all.
I guess
you could have just said RP.
Yeah, there was no.
You could have just said RP.
You could have left that out for
that wasn't necessary. That really wasn't.
Also, too, you don't know their relationship, and you don't know what's going on in their full time together. You know, like when Kobe died at 40. You don't know their 40-year relationship. You don't know what happened.
Damn, 40 is young.
41 years old he was, B. That was it.
Turn Up AG said, what's the most important skill in basketball? Is an all-around player more valuable than a scorer?
I think you need an elite skill. I don't think you could just be average at everything. Because at the end of the day, average at everything, teams are going to make you do something well. Like if you're an average shooter, I don't know what an average shooter looks like, but if you're an average shooter, teams are going to still make you show that you're a good shooter in a series. Or if you're an average defender, teams are going to make you defend at a high level. You have to have an elite skill. Now, what that elite skill is can be anything. You can be an elite point of attack defender, an elite rim protector, an elite shooter, an elite passer, an elite something, and then you have to be good at the other things too. Because if you're an elite scorer who can't pass, then teams start shrinking the floor or double teaming, and all of a sudden you can't play out of that, and you become flawed. Or if you're an elite playmaker who can't score, then you end up just turning into an idle guy who's trying to get guys open shots, but they're just ignoring you, and you're not putting any pressure on defenses in that way. So I just think you have to be able to do everything, but you have to have an elite skill. And whatever that is, you just got to capitalize on it and use that to your advantage.
If you could only have one thing,
if you're just a scorer though, and then or just being like average at everything else, I think being average at everything else is much better. Like it's so easy to score the basketball. So
is it?
That's why.
Is it though? I mean, because if it was that easy to score the ball, then we'd have a bunch of scorers in the league that would just.
We do have a bunch of scorers in the league. Sure, that's my personal opinion. I think putting the ball in the basket is so overrated that you know what I'm saying. Not overrated in the sense of it's not important, because obviously the name of the game is scoring, right? Like the name of the game is scoring more points to your opponent. But I think it's easier to score than all the other stuff. Like, so I feel like if you're just a scorer, as opposed to being a solid defender, a solid rebounder, you know what I'm saying? You move the ball. You're not a ball stopper, so you're good at whatever, good at passing, facilitating, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? I think that's more. More important, more advantageous. Yeah.
From a team standpoint, I think scoring is easy. Not easy, but like pretty easy. Individually, I don't think it's easy as an individual to create a good shot consistently in the NBA. I don't think that's easy, but I think it's easy for teams to create good offense. But I think that's what
the bar is being moved constantly in terms of what a good shot is and what efficient offense even looks like, right? Like 10 years ago, efficient offense looked like 42% mid-range shot. That's efficient offense. This is a completely different equation now. So to be efficient today, and it's like, yeah, we do have a bunch of guys who can score. We have a bunch of guys who can go to a pro-am and score 70 points when the league has never been more talented. But because the top guys are so efficient, The middle guys don't get those opportunities because they're just not as good. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I think like if I could just pick one thing to be elite at, I will probably pick shooting, but specifically deep shooting, because then at the very least you could be a threat on the court, and you could still provide very positive space for the rest of your teammates, and you would provide like, it's just a great amplifier because of the way the game is going. Like if you could stand at like 40 feet and be a threat, you are extending all the angles for the rest of your team. You're extending those passing angles. Everything gets easier if you could do that. But like, I don't know, like isolation scoring, post scoring, nothing stretches the defense quite that way, in my opinion.
I just think that when you're talking about being all around, I don't want to minimize being all around, because Mars, to your point, I would definitely take a better scorer than over a guy who does everything average. No, I don't want that. Now, if I got a guy who does everything good to almost great, as opposed to a scorer, a guy who's just a bucket getter. I mean, there are plenty of bucket getters in the game, but how much do they affect the game when they're not getting buckets? Because we have stretches during the game where, you know, there's really not much going on. You can't score 4 or 5 minutes where you can't score the basketball. All right, so what else are you doing to affect the game? And if you just average at passing, if you just average at defending, if you just average at rebounding, okay, that's not helping at all. However, if I'm better than average, if I'm good at rebounding, that means I can speed the game up. If I'm good at passing, that means that I could get guys more involved in the game and I could get that lid off the basket. If I'm better at playmaking, I can do more to affect the game as opposed to if I'm just the scorer. Because there are going to be times when I can't score the basketball, whether I got a guy in front of me that's a damn good defender and he's making it difficult on me, or just my shot isn't falling. If that's going on, how else am I affecting the game? So I'd much rather a guy who's better than average, who's good at everything, as opposed to a guy who's elite at scoring.
I guess the counter is, if you're an elite scorer and you don't do anything else at an elite level, team, even if you're having a bad shooting night or whatever the case, teams are still going to commit resources to stop you from scoring.
Sure.
You don't, there's no elite scorer, unless like you go up against like a situation like Boston in this year's playoffs where they were like, okay, we're going to play one-on-one for the most part. But like, generally speaking, teams are going to commit resources to slow you down or to stop you from scoring or to make sure you don't find a rhythm, which inevitably creates space for your teammates. And if you're an average passer or average playmaker, you can still make those reads out of it. And you still then end up providing value on a possession-to-possession basis, just based on the fact that teams know how good of a scorer you are. Similar to a floor spacer who's 0 for 4. Like, we still know you can shoot. We still gonna close out. We still gonna run you off the line. We still gonna guard you. You're still affecting it. Right. So I think being an elite scorer, teams are still gonna treat you as such, even on a night where you're struggling. Now it's about how can you play off of that, and then the better players are able to play off that better. But if you're just an average playmaker, you can still capitalize on the attention you draw from the defense just based on being a scorer. So I think it still does have a.
Are we low key kind of debating Rob Dillingham versus Reed Shepherd without realizing it right now? Scoring versus shooting.
I was actually going to bring up a utility guy like Derek White, and a guy like Derek White who does a whole bunch of other things.
He does everything very good.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean.
He's not average at anything.
Yeah, he's very good at it.
And that's my point. The fact that a guy who's not just average, who's damn good at everything, would I rather have that than a guy who's just a bucket getter?
Okay, this is great. So if you could take one thing away from Derek White that would make him like way worse, what would you take away? Like let's just say like, okay, we're Monstars. This is Space Jam, and you just get to suck.
His take off the whole side of the ball, not an individual defense aspect.
No. You drop anything to average. Let me put it that way. What's one thing you could take from Derek White, drop it to average, and he loses massive value for you? What's the most massive? You like right now, I think he's an above average shooter, right?
Okay.
But you could knock him down to like league average, right? Right now, I think he's a well above average defender. You could knock him down to league average.
I think he's an elite defender, to be honest with you. But
yes, I agree. I think he's one of the top guard defenders. there's also like he has positional versatility. You could take that away. He has a lot of angles. Like he's a good passer. He's an above average passer.
Yep.
So I mean, like he is the ultimate like jack of all trades, master of none, but like the best version of that ever. Like one of them. So take one thing and drop it down to average. What's the one thing that hurts him the most?
I want to hear from all three of you. Chill, Mars.
I would say the positional versatility, like the fact that he's such a great rim protector as a guard, the fact that he can guard up to 1 through 3, occasional for the switcher, but like if he was limited to just point of attack defense, because I actually think that's probably one of his lesser attributes, his point of attack defense. I think everything else is actually what makes him so great. So if you took away his positional versatility and made him strictly a point of attack defender, I think that's where he would lose the most value of any of his attributes.
Basically like Tyler Hero.
Chill.
When I say Tyler Hero, I mean, if you think about what Tyler Hero does when he shoots the bat as an elite shooter, if he had all of those things that Derek White had, and now Tyler Hero is just a point of attack defender. He can't defend. He can't do any of that stuff. None of it. That's basically what I'm thinking about with Derek White. If now you take away Derek White's ability to just defend, all of that other stuff you're talking about is just part of it. So his ability to be switchable, right? His ability to stop in transition, his ability to rim protect, all of that stuff is part of it. I'm thinking if you took that away, that completely limits him. Not take it away, just make it average. That's one of the main reasons why he's so effective with the Boston Celtics or in any crew. That's one of the main reasons why he would be so effective, because he brings so much more to the game. Because when I'm on the defensive side of the basketball, how much more playmaking I can create, getting steals, getting rebounds, speeding up the game, doing stuff like that. I can affect the game in so many more ways, as opposed to if I'm just knocking down shots, which he's damn good at, getting to the rim and playmaking for other people, which he's damn good at, right? If I'm just an average shoot. If I'm just a guy who's average on defense, my point of attack defense isn't really good. Now, not only is my point of attack defense not good, my ability to stay in front of a guy, none of that stuff is blowing anybody away. I think that affects the Boston way more than it would affect them if anything else was off the floor. Because I think we could supplement him not being able to shoot. We could figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it, his IQ is just so high. That's like I can't. What can you take away from him? It's not like
take away his IQ.
Well, you see now, if you take away his IQ, you take away most things, because I don't think he's specifically just great at stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think he's just a very smart basketball player and knows what to do on defense, knows where to be, knows when to make the extra pass, knows how to play angles on defense, and that's all IQ. If you ask me, that's why I said what I was saying earlier. Like scoring part, like anybody can really do that. Like you could take any of these guys, and
a dumb player can score. A dumb player,
you know what I'm saying? As long as yeah, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like obviously in team construction or building a team, obviously we want one or two guys that could just go. Right. We want one or two guys that these are bucket getters. Obviously we want that. But more important to me is finding somebody that can do all this other stuff, because the scoring part, that's gonna come. Like somebody's gonna put the ball in the basket. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like all the other stuff is just more important. So when even to take it to, okay, we'll choose Derek White. What are we gonna take away from him? Well, it would have to be his IQ to change his game, because that's where he's at with it. He's a thinker.
So that's his superpower.
You know what's really interesting with Derek White is like 3 years. Okay, so the last 2 years he's been a lights out 3-point shooter, right? He's shooting like 40%, 38% the last 2 years. But if you check the 3 years prior to that, very below average on lower volume. So I mean, we don't even have to hypothesize what happens if you take that jump shot away. We've already seen it.
I still think he has value though without the jumper.
Bro, he was shooting 30%, 31%, 34% from 3 years. Yeah. That's a lot of really bad shooting seasons.
Did we potentially see an outlier season from him?
Nope. We got two solid years. I mean, this is legit. This is like, yeah. We're talking like a monumental shift.
Yeah, playing in that
this is not low.
This game.
Yeah, this is not low volume. The last 2 years in Boston, per 100 possessions, he's got 10 attempts per game. 10 attempts per game at 40% is madness. I mean, it's not Klay Thompson, it's not Steph Curry, but it's craziness. Like that spacing has really unlocked him.
He's 27 too, so like he's
29.
worked on a shot. He's 29.
Yep.
My bad. But
so to think about what you just said,
Ben,
when you think about when you talk about his volume, like in San Antonio, well, I'm sure he's getting way different looks in Boston.
He had volume in San Antonio. He just wasn't making it. Like, I mean, he had a season where he took 11 per game, 11 per 100. That's crazy volume.
And those it's the difference between volume and shot selection. Way different shots in Boston than in San Antonio. Way different
playing off of better players.
I mean, that's the point. Passes. Not only that, he's in San Antonio, and he's not the same player he was in San Antonio that he is today. He's gotten much better. He's improved as a long ball shooter. He's improved as a defender, right? So when he's doing all of this stuff, now he's in Boston, makes him look a lot better as opposed to just an average guy who's not getting better.
I agree with you. And you know what's crazy is, like, I wanted to mention something about Josh Giddey, but we moved off the topic a little bit fast. But there's some positive growth in his game year over year that I think should be commended, because I kind of took like a lot of shots at him, being not so optimal lead initiator, and I feel like I left some stuff on the table. His free throw percentage has gone up every year with Josh Giddey, right? True shooting percentage gone up every year. Win shares gone up every year, right? His free throw attempt rate is slowly going up. His box plus minus has gone up every year. So it's not like he's not getting better. And I mean, he shot 80% from the free throw line. That is showing you some shooting potential. I've never seen a complete non-shooter shoot 80% from the free throw line, even if it is on low volume. So, I mean, it eases up some of my concerns about, is Josh Giddey working? Because he has gotten better every year for the last 3 years.
He's not just showing up. Sure, I could get with
that. Fellas, this last topic with Derek White leads me to another segment that I definitely want to get into. We're going to kind of reverse to the playoffs. I'm going to need you guys to remember what was going on throughout the whole playoff run. But I'm going to give you two guys. It was a lot of guys that popped out in these last playoffs, and they I think they showed us their true value. So I'm going to give you two guys, and you guys let me know, who are you more impressed with these two guys? All right, so the first two guys I got for you is Nas Reed and PJ Washington. Who impressed you more during this last playoff run?
Nas Reed or PJ Washington?
Just in the playoffs?
Yeah.
PJ impressed me more, but that's because I didn't know how good PJ was. And maybe that's because I didn't watch Charlotte enough, but I'd like to think I watched Charlotte. I just didn't think he was that good defensively. Now, there were some still mental lapses from him defensively in the postseason, a lot of them. But from what I thought he was on defense, he showed me more than what Nas Reed did, because I knew how good I thought Nas Reed was offensively. Like, I was aware of Nas Reed. PJ, I was less aware. So maybe it's on me just not being aware as I should have. Maybe Charlotte fans are going to be like, PJ was a good defender. Now, me, I didn't see it. So that's on me. And also, some of the bias of I just watched PJ turn into Steph Curry against OKC. So
yeah, I think that's why I'm leaning towards PJ. I think
that's definitely what it was, Mars.
Yeah, it's that OKC series. That
yes.
OKC series got me leaning towards PJ. And on top of that, I think it's more so just because I just already had the thought that Nas just was better than PJ. So I would say, to answer that question, PJ for sure.
I'm not saying PJ's better than Nas Reed, just to clarify. Because when it gets clipped, people are going to be like, "You think PJ's better than Nas Reed?" No, but he was more impressive to me, because I know when it gets clipped, they're going to be like, "Oh my god, he said PJ's better than Nas Reed." No, I didn't. And I know this ain't even going to make the clip, but I just want to clarify for the people watching.
Mars, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you just said that, Mars. You definitely said PJ's better than Nas. That's the bottom line.
You're right. Someone's gonna leave a comment. Oh my god, Mars said PJ's better than Nas Reed, the sixth man of the year. Whatever.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I did not know Nas Reed was that good. I didn't. A lot of y'all did. I did not know he was that good, and I felt like I did. I watched a little bit of him, but I feel like his game as a rotation player, I feel like it translates more than any. I feel like it translates more than any any other aspect, like him starting. I feel like him being a rotation player, he could be one of the best rotation players, if not the best rotation player in the game for a long time if he stayed in that role. PJ Washington, don't get me wrong, Mars. I mean, if you leaving somebody wide open, one of two things is going to happen, right? One of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to miss shots and look bad, or you're going to make shots and have guys like Mars going, yo, is that Steph Curry reincarnated over there? What's going on? And people are going to overrate him, sure. I just didn't know that I didn't know that Nas Reed could be that good in that role. And I think that role fits him the best, to be quite honest with you. Him being a rotation guy, playing the amount of minutes that he plays, I think that him being in a more significant role, I think that would hamper him, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. That Denver series was great from Nas, too.
Yes.
He did really good that Denver series. But chill. Remember when Cat went out? I was like, I mean, that guy Nas. And I was such a casual because you can't make up for how much did Cat average? However many points average he averaged. You can't make up for that with the bench player, Nas. I'm trying to tell you, Nas like that.
Yeah, he is.
Nas came up a bit like PJ for sure turned into a whole different person in that second round series against OKC. But let's not act like Nas didn't come through clutch in a bunch of different games. It was times where you guys' favorite player on earth, Anthony Edwards, wasn't nowhere to be found. Nas Reed stepped in and made some big shots and had some big quarters and had some big runs. Nas was ball. I know PJ, he came out of nowhere for a lot of you guys. I know you weren't expecting this, and I know Nas already kind of had a level of expectation with him being the sixth man, but that doesn't take away from some of the heroics that Nas was bringing.
The defensive versatility is what I marveled at the most with him. Yeah, I didn't know that as a defender he could be that versatile. Mm-hmm. Usually, when you get a dirty work guy, you can get him to play the 4, maybe even the 3, play him to get him to rebound a little bit. But for him to be able to switch on the 5s and be effective, not just to switch on the 5s and be effective, also to be able to switch on the wings and in transition. And not only that, to get on the offensive glass the way he did, on the defensive glass the way he did, I didn't realize that he was that versatile as a defender. That really opened my eyes to the type of player that he was.
The issue I have with Nas, and I guess it's nitpicking, is I feel like there's a direct correlation between his shots going in and his defensive effort. And I don't like that. It feels like if Nas is scoring well, he's giving you extra effort on defense. He's running guys off the line. He's switching. He's getting back in transition. But if he's shooting poorly, it feels like the defensive effort is less consistent.
That's not true.
That's just how I feel about it. If you think that's untrue, then that's fine. That's just how I feel about it. That's what I felt watching this Denver series, for example. Well, I know we remember the possessions he blocks Jokic and all those things. I also remember the possessions where he's not sprinting back in transition. Then I remember the possession where he does sprint back in transition. Just so happens to be the game where he's made 4 threes. Like that's what I mean when I feel like there's a direct correlation between his defensive effort and the scoring. But if you feel differently, then
don't get me wrong, Mars. If I'm making shots, I'm going to be more energized, sure. But Nas Reed, being the rotation guy that he is, he's a dirty work guy. So my effort cannot be predicated on me making shots. That's not what I'm here for.
That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Theoretically,
and that's why Nas Reed is one of the better rotation guys.
Lou Williams is one of the better rotation guys, and his defensive effort was definitely.
And Lou Williams, sure, that's definitely true, Mars. Lou Williams is one of the better rotation guys in the league, but that's what Lou Williams was. He was a bucket getter. That's it. So Nas Reed, no, I think Nas Reed was more of a dirty work guy than he is a bucket getter. I think Nas Reed is I think he's a dirty work guy who gets buckets. I think Lou Williams is a bucket getter, period. That's it. I don't think he does anything else besides that. And I think Nas Reed, particularly on this Minnesota team, which is predicated on defense, I think he knows that in order for me to be effective, one, I have to be effective defensively. Don't get me wrong. I can knock down the long ball. I can get to the basket. I'm damn good in transition. But if I'm not doing the other stuff to enhance that, which enhances that, then there's no reason for me to be on the floor. And I feel like he does that first. Once he does that, then he gets the other stuff involved.
No part of me has ever viewed Nas Reed as a dirty work guy, like ever. Even in college, I mean, he's a skilled big. That's what he is to me. Right. He's a big who can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot. He can drive. He's shown playmaking ability. Mm-hmm. He's not the most physical rebounder. I didn't view him as someone who would be willing to bang down low with the true bigs. That's what he showed me in this postseason. When he slimmed down from, because I think the big reason why he didn't,
weight. Yes, he did.
Yeah, a big reason why I think he didn't get drafted is because of how big he was at LSU. He's slimmed down a lot. So that showed like a level of work ethic that I liked. But I've never viewed, and maybe that once again, maybe that's just me viewing Nas Reed in the wrong lens. But I've never ever viewed Nas Reed as a dirty work guy, ever. So,
Pin, talk to me. PJ
I like
or Nas Reed?
I can't stand PJ Washington, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna say it. I mean, like this is me just being a straight up hater. I don't like his playmaking. I don't like his shooting. I don't like his game. I just don't like him. I think he cost them big time. Yes, he shot crazy percentages in OKC, in that OKC series, and people were going crazy. But in fact, it actually infuriated me when people were comparing him to Klay Thompson. Are y'all crazy? Like, what the hell, man? We need to get out of this ESPN.
It was wide open. He wasn't making shit.
Yeah, but remember I was telling you during the season because I was adamant that the plan made sense. That man shot 24% on corner threes this year. Wow. He just decided to shoot 49% on them against OKC. The plan made sense. He couldn't make corner threes the whole year. He just happened to start making them
that wide open though, Mars. Like people were leaving him that wide open. I
hate that y'all knock players from not.
They rolled out a red carpet for him. They might as well put a red carpet in front of him and said, "Please shoot."
Y'all do that all the time. That's
the reason why we do that, Ox, because there's guys that we talking about.
That's what about the skill of shooting. If you only shoot wide open shots, you're not as good of a shooter as someone else. That's what
that's fine.
No one's ever knocked someone for making wide open shots.
I definitely don't want to get back into that, Mars, because that guy.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, let's not.
But what I do want to say is
that no.
Oh my God, is he the third flash brother? Yo, man, come on.
I'm with that, bro. But chill. I feel like that's crazy. Like that is what you want from a player. I want my players like if somebody's asking me like, what do I want from this player? I need a guy that's gonna knock down open shots. I can guarantee you, Chill. Right. That's gonna come out my mouth at some point in the conversation about what am I looking for. I can guarantee you that's gonna be one of the top 5 things I say.
Sure.
And knocking down open shots is important. Right. Why? Because in basketball, that's what we're looking for. That's what my offense is about. That's what my motion is about. I'm looking for an open shot. And if you can't knock down open shots, I don't want you. I need you to knock down open shots. That is a great asset to have. That's great to put on your resume.
No one would ever say no to a player who can make an open shot. If you can, like, no one's going to deny a player, oh, you make open shots? No, thank you. But you have to do other things, obviously. But no one's going to be like, I like that player until I found out he can make open shots.
This nigga, yo.
That's what put me off. So no one's ever said that. But I guess the conversation was like PJ couldn't make a corner 3 to save his life this year.
I swear.
And then right on time, when OKC have plans for PJ to not be able to make corner 3s, they have Shea as their little roamer backside. He's trying to be a defensive playmaker. And now all of a sudden PJ is going 6 for 7, 4 for 9. Like, damn, like that's just annoying. So I guess that's what that was.
So Ox, here's the thing, Ox. You are very much a quote unquote basketball player guy. Basketball players knock down open shots. You have specific guys to knock down open shots, though, right? Not everybody is knocking down open shots. Not everybody. No, you have guys specifically to knock down open shots. PJ Washington, on the other hand, wasn't expected to knock down open shots like that. That's why the game plan, what it was, we're going to leave him wide open. In order for us to win, we're going to leave him wide open. Well, he actually made open shots. There's a reason why in the scouting report, we leave guys wide open because we don't think you can make open shots. That's the idea. So a guy like PJ Washington, who now is making open shots, be like, damn, okay, are we going to live with this? Or are we gonna live with this, or are we gonna do something about it? Well, we'll just live with it because this isn't something that's normal with him, right? This isn't something that's normal with him. This isn't something that he does on the regular, right? This isn't something that he does on the regular, but he did it, right? He did it. With that being said, do I value a guy? Is everybody supposed to make open shots? No, Ox, because that's not everybody on your crew. You had guys on your crew who are dirty work guys. You have guys on your crew who are primary ball handlers. Not every last one of them could knock down an open shot. You got guys specifically to knock down open shots.
Here?
Well, I mean,
That's what I want to know. If you
was just praising Josh Giddey
right
10 minutes ago.
My thing is, what'd you say, Pin?
No, we gotta stop talking about PJ Washington like he's a Shaquille O'Neal from the 3-point line. This guy shot 38%, 38.6% from three in his second year. He shot 37.4% as a rookie. This is a guy who has almost forgotten how to shoot the three. Like his percentages have gone down every single year he's been in the league. That's the crux of being in Charlotte, I guess. My issue is not that he can't shoot. My issue is that they are treating him like he can't shoot, and they're putting the ball, and he is creating negative space for Luka and Kyrie, which is to me why someone like Tim Hardaway had to even be put onto the court. And when you're a role player, your entire objective, in my opinion, is to help your stars, right? You can hit open shots for sure.
27%.
Right. So like that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, he's just what frustrates me the most about him is his lack of playmaking, bad decision making, transition play. He misses the open outlet. Like, I mean, when you're playing with a basketball savant like Luka and another basketball savant like Kyrie, if you don't know how to play basketball, it's gonna really stick out. Derek Lively, on the other hand, showed me incredible poise, incredible basketball IQ, incredible compete level. PJ Washington, it waned. Some of his percentages were saved by like late, but it's like, man, they're down 15 because this guy can't buy a shot and they're leaving him open.
That's all you need to do when you play with basketball savants like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving.
I disagree.
All you got. Well, you didn't even hear what I said.
I know where you're going.
I do too, man. And this shit makes me crazy.
Let him get his point off.
While you're going crazy and Pins disagreeing, I'm just gonna go ahead and get my take off. I feel like when you're playing with basketball savants like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, basketball doesn't get harder; it gets so much easier because all you have to be able to do is move without the ball and knock down open shots. If I can move my feet and move my body into open positions on the court, I can move without the ball. I can set off ball screens, down picks, cut when I don't have the ball. Don't just stand and watch. All I got to do is be able to move without the ball and knock down open shots. That's all Luka Doncic needs. That's all Kyrie needs is for you to get out the way. And I'm not saying stand in the corner. Get out the way doesn't mean stand in the corner. Get out the way means cut, set off ball screens, make the defense move, and knock down open jump shots. Cut to the rim. If you're a big fella, get your hands up and be ready to jump and go dunk the basketball. That's what you can do when you're playing with guys that are as talented and as great as Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. It makes basketball so much easier.
That was
man,
true.
I think you're oversimplifying a very
yes,
complicated
and that just makes me crazy.
No, basketball is a simple sport. Basketball is so easy.
No, it is not.
Basketball is so easy.
It is and it's not. I get what you're saying.
It's not. It's so easy.
The reason why it's easy.
Y'all let analytics trick y'all.
Easier said than done.
It's not about analytics, bro. No. Even what you're saying, a playoff defense.
How awesome these guys really are. That shit makes me crazy when you do that.
They're awesome, and that's what I'm saying. You're awesome. All you gotta do.
Hey, running back, run the ball in the end zone. Hey,
that's not what I said at all.
That's exactly what you're saying, huh? It's easy. You're playing with a great offensive line. Run the ball into the end zone. All you gotta do,
you don't know when to cut. You're just in the way.
Is move. If you don't know how to do that, you're not gonna be able to do it.
See, Pin, that's what
I just said. Simple.
Pin, that's what I just said. That's what I just said, Pin. I didn't say you just move. You got to move with the purpose. You got to cut without the ball.
And if I don't know how to do that, then it's not simple.
You don't know how to move without the ball. You should not be on this goddamn basketball court.
Ox, I'm a professional. That's why I know how to do it.
Well,
what the hell?
We're talking about.
I don't even know what you guys are arguing at this point.
We're talking about cutting and screening being talked about like it's not a real skill. It is a real skill.
Like it's nothing. All you got to do when you run it with Luka,
don't take your frustrations about Buddy out on me. I'm simply saying that when you're on the basketball court, especially when you're a professional, chill. And that's my point, bro. What I'm saying is you're right. but these guys are professionals, chill. That's why they should be held to the standards of move it out the ball, because as Penn said, you're playing with basketball savants. All you got to do is put yourself in the right position, and they'll get you the ball. Might it be a grenade sometimes dealing with Luka? Yeah, but if you're open, shoot the ball.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
Like,
let me
move it out the ball. Cut. That's it. Like
we got to stop.
If you think it's not that, we'll stop in a moment. But what I'm saying is, if you just move without the ball, you can't stand and watch. If you're standing and watching Luka Doncic do his thing,
this is not
you're not helping him.
This is not rec.
Who said anything about rec
Division II basketball, bro? This is playoff basketball.
Playoff,
no,
okay, and still, if you got Luka Doncic on your court, on the team, it's really still basketball. It's still basketball. Move without the ball. Set screens. Do what you do, whatever your motion is, whatever it is. But if you're open, shoot the ball, bro. It's simple.
Okay. What is the point of cutting?
If you don't understand, Penn, fine, that's cool.
No, what is the point of cutting? You play basketball, right?
What is the point of cutting? The point of cutting. There's more than one point to cutting. There's more than one point to cutting. So
let's break it down.
If I'm cutting, I'm either cutting. The main reason to cut is because I'm cutting to get the ball to catch it and lay it up. That's the first reason I would cut. Another reason I would cut is because maybe I want the guy with the ball over here to be on the island, so I'm taking my defender through. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm cutting just to shift the defense.
Okay. That's perfect. That's amazing. I'm really happy you said that. First things first.
Me too. I didn't know you knew that.
First things first. Okay. If I'm not guarding you at the corner, your cutting is suddenly you're cutting where and you're doing what is somewhat mitigated.
You asked me a question. If I'm not, what do you say? If I'm on the baseline, that's the reason why I would cut. Penn.
Bro.
If I'm in the corner over here and my defender is sagged off me and he's not guarding me, then that's why I would run the baseline to make him guard me.
Hold on. I'm trying.
I'm not just running into him.
Hold up. I'm trying to point two very different examples to you and to try to explain like why maybe the
shit to me, Penn. I already understand.
No, you don't, Ox. Because if I'm in the corner wide open and there's nobody next to me, no, you don't, Ox. Because if I'm in the corner,
I already know what's going on.
And there's nobody else to me,
I already know the goings on.
If I'm in the corner and there's nobody next to me within 5 feet,
this is what happens when we talk about PJ Washington on the panel, man. People get heated.
What am I cutting to the rim for?
Families get destroyed.
There's a bunch of people there. There's nobody next to me, 18 feet away from the basket.
I know what you're getting at with that,
Penn. What am I doing over there, Ox? All I'm doing is going into the traffic. And not only am I going into the traffic, I'm making the offense even more complex. But if I'm standing on the wing and nobody's next to me, why am I cutting to the rim?
Chill, because I'm cutting
what am I
through.
doing?
I'm cutting all the way
through. What am I cutting over there for?
You're just in the way, man. You're just in the way. You're cutting into nothing.
What am I doing over there?
If you're being guarded like Steph, if you're being guarded like, okay, let me give you an example. A great example of a great off-ball cutter is someone like Derek White, right? Why? Because he has shooting gravity. People pay attention to him. Klay Thompson, people paying attention to him. So when Klay Thompson cuts or when Klay Thompson comes off a pin down, it's collapsing the defense. And that's what you need to create those gaps for Luka and Kyrie. So for me, if you're PJ Washington and you're cutting, you're just in my way because you're not doing shit when you cut. Now you said, oh, the point of cutting is to get the basketball and finish in the paint. That would be great if you were. That's the first. Yeah, but that would be great if you were a great paint finisher. But guess what? In the modern
now dudes
NBA,
can't make layups, Penn. So
bro,
all these things that these dudes can't do. Bro, how the hell did they even get on the team?
Is he a good paint finisher?
If nobody can do any of this stuff, then how the hell how did they get here? So he can't.
We
knock
just
that
finished talking about Josh Giddey not being a good scorer from anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's what you talked about. I don't agree. How? So you're saying I can't make layups. I can't make open shots. I can't do anything. Why is he here?
I didn't say you can't make an open shot. I'm saying you can't do it well enough for me to actually want that to be the outcome of my offense. You understand what I'm saying? Look, man, let me put it this way.
I don't understand.
Okay, perfect.
I do.
Just hear what I'm saying. 2001 Lakers, right? What's the best shot for the 2001 Lakers?
Dump down the shot.
Perfect. Does that mean that Rick Fox can't hit a three? Of course he can hit a three, but that's not what you want to happen on offense. It's what you'll take if they take the first thing away. What I'm trying to say is that PJ Washington going for a layup is about the last thing I want my offense to be if it's not an open layup. If it's a contested layup for PJ Washington, that's a bad shot in the modern NBA.
And why is he cutting to the basket? Why is he cutting to the basket if the lane is already clogged? And
I didn't say cut to the basket. I said cut through the lane.
Okay, so what am I cutting? What am I cutting through the lane
because
for?
you told me you just told me that somebody's sagging off me in the corner, right?
Yes.
And somebody's sagging off me on the corner. Now I'm assuming that the ball is I'm on strong side. I'm assuming I'm strong side corner. Now, if my man is there and he's off, that means he's in a help defense situation. So me being a smart basketball player, because what smart basketball players do, they cut through the baseline to make his defender either acknowledge me, because once I get closer to the rim, I am a threat. Regardless of what Penn says about his finishing abilities, he is a threat the closer he gets to the rim. So when I cut through y'all keep shaking your head. If y'all don't understand it, I'm just gonna stop talking. Because that is just simple basketball 1-on-1. It is not that simple. If I am strong side corner, my defender is backed off of me because he's saying that I can't shoot, right? I am going to make him engage. How do I make him engage? I'll tell you how you make him engage. I cut through. I try to cut behind him, or I try to cut in front of his face. If I cut in front of his face, that means you give me the ball, I score. If I cut behind him, he has to engage me. He has to move because I left.
Sure.
So you know what I'm saying? So when I leave, if he stays there, what do? I don't just go all the way to the corner. I stop at this opposite block, turn around, and come back to the ball right there in the middle of the court. That's what you do to engage, Penn. I'm sorry if it's just too simple for you, but we don't need to sit here and talking and do all that shit about true shooting and layups and all
no
that.
one said
all that
anything
other shit,
about that.
We don't need to do all that shit. It's just we could just.
We're not talking about true shooting, Knox. We're not.
Fellas, I want to hear from Mars right quick.
Yeah,
Mars.
This might be disappointing. Ron, can I share something to the screen?
Disappointing?
Please. Yeah, disappointing. Yes.
Mars, you gonna disappoint us? Mars, don't cut through with this. Stay in the corner now. Go ahead, fellas, as we were saying.
Because I don't know if people are expecting me to first of all, I'm still confused when we're arguing. But I want to, because I feel like everyone's trying to explain their thought process, but it's hard to visualize what people are saying.
Mars.
So, Ox, can you explain what you are saying?
Mars.
So, okay, you said PJ Washington's strong side corner, right? He's here.
Right, and
Luka has the ball. And this is PJ Washington's defender, sagging off of him. Okay. That's Derek Jones, Kyrie, Derek Lively. Typical 5-up. Just explain what you are saying and where PJ Washington should go.
Okay, so these guys over here shouldn't just be standing watching Luka with the ball, right?
Okay, well, unfortunately, that's Dallas' offense. But
okay, yeah. We're still. If that's what we're doing, if I'm the 4, right, I'm gonna cut through. So if I cut through, that can give Luka baseline. Now, if the 4 cuts through, let's say he just cuts there. Let's just say he goes just right there, right? Okay. But he intends to go further through. If Luka then attacks baseline, right? That means the man that was guarding PJ either has to go and help Luka or leaves and goes with PJ, giving Luka the island. That's all I'm saying. If I leave, then now I got him with the island, right? But if he stays there, then the 4, who is PJ, comes back and he's right under the basket, wide open with the ball. How? I don't understand how that's so hard.
Okay, once again, I agree with what you're saying. In theory, I agree. He cuts through, he either takes the defender with him, ISO, or he stays here, PJ's in the dunker spot.
Now,
in reality, this guy will take the inside of PJ, and then they'll concede the Derek Jones Jr. corner 3, or what they'll do is here, and then he'll follow through, and Derek Lively, who's up here, will sink.
Now he dives to the rim.
He dives, and now you got a dive. You got a dive to the rim.
They got to relocate though, Mars. Number the 2 and the 3. They got to come up the lane. You can't.
Yeah, they'll come up, and then PJ will fill out. That's what we're saying, right?
I'm saying it's just motion.
But PJ can stay there in the dunker spot. So keep PJ in the dunker spot, right? Luka has the ball, and keep in mind he's a phenomenal passer. X2 now has to rotate up to number 2. Regardless if it's a shooter or not, you still have to respect it. So so he has to play there. Now X3 is on the backside. He has to make a decision. Thing about it though is let's not even really pay too much attention to X3 and 3. When Derek Lively cut to the hoop at the 5, Luka's a good enough passer where you have to respect that because A, Luka's either gonna throw him a bullet and that's a dunk, or B, Luka go just throw it to the rim, and you know what that is. So, but let's say X5 still has to help. So take X5 out. Luka's driving baseline. That's a direct pass to him. So X4 has to step over. Here's also the thing too. Luka's a good enough passer where he can either A, dump it to and Luka's one of these type of passers where he could bend the defense. He could find PJ right there. But also too, if he gets it to Derek Lively can make a quick pass to PJ as well. So it's a boom, boom, quick pass like that. X4 has to guard both of them. You can't.
Bro, you see the Warriors and the Nuggets do that all the time with that 4 right there in the dunker spot and the 5 right there in the middle of the floor. Once you make the defense either stay there and double Luka or go through, then you're just in a position where you're part of my language. You're well, I'm not gonna swear. You're SOL. You know what I'm saying? You have to pick your poison at that point.
I agree with I think the biggest difference with Golden State do it a little bit differently, but I agree with what you're saying. But if
not exactly that way, but I'm saying once they create that mismatch or whatever,
more so theoretically, if PJ cuts through and X5 would sink and because he's on Derek Lively, PJ would cut through all the way to the corner theoretically, just to give the more space for here. But if PJ is in the dunker spot, the issue is either Luka has to be the most majestic passer of all time to get this to PJ through here, or Derek Lively, because if you pass to Derek Lively on the dive, this X4, if he's gonna step up and then PJ's gonna have to roam here. X4 can play both.
That's an easy pass.
X4, but because the lane isn't this big. If Derek Lively's here, he's about 8 feet from the rim.
He can, but that's hard.
Both. No, it's 1000%. It's hard.
As a matter of
nothing about in the NBA is easy. We gotta understand. Nothing about playing in the NBA is easy. These concepts might it makes sense. If Luka gets 2 on the ball, you've got an advantage on the backside. That makes sense. Playing off the advantage is not easy. It's not easy for Derek Lively to catch, understand PJ's in the dunker spot and make that read instantaneously. It's not easy for Luka to make this skip pass to PJ Washington in the corner. It's not easy. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Penn. Correct me if I'm wrong. The point you're making is most team defenses are living with the outcome that ends in PJ Washington doing something.
Absolutely.
And that's how OKC got cooked.
And one thing that people have not brought up is that PJ Washington is a non-playmaker, and he is not a great finisher. Those are the 2 things he does not have in common with someone like Derek Lively. The reason you're comfortable with Derek Lively on the pick and roll catching the basketball is because he's an excellent passer, and he shoots 76% at the rim. Those percentages get very different if the outcome is PJ Washington, who shoots 56% at the rim. So I don't give a shit that the chat is like, oh, math the ball or whatever. Y'all crazy if you think that the ideal outcome look, man, a modern defense is going to push you towards your least efficient offense. And your least efficient offense is the basketball ending up in PJ Washington or Derrick Jones Jr.'s hands to play make or score or make a decision, because they're not good decision makers. Your best possible outcome is Luka Doncic in the middle of the floor navigating 1 defender. The minute the defense sends a second defender or the defense starts pushing him away from the center of the court, his playmaking potential goes down. You ever realize why his shot chart is so center dominant? Is because he's a great playmaker. You want Luka in the center of the court. You want him in the pinch post. You want him above the break. If Luka's in the corner, you've lost. You've already lost that offensive possession, in my opinion. This is 4D basketball, and you're talking like it's 1D basketball. It's crazy to me. This conversation is insane.
It's also a big reason why bigs are guards in It's also a big reason why bigs are guards in PJs, because they want PJ as the screener. Because Dallas are trying to get the bigs onto Luka.
Absolutely, and I'm sick and tired of screening being talked about like everyone could just do it.
It's a skill.
No,
it's a skill.
Skill.
We've had that whole argument on
watch Ben Simmons set screens and watch him pick up 15 fouls, man.
That's why Ben Simmons can't be Draymond Green. That's why Ben Simmons can't be Draymond Green.
Right?
Absolutely. And so Draymond Green, what is Draymond Green great at? Draymond Green is probably one of the best big passers of all time. And he's fast. And he knows what to do without the basketball. And all things that I cannot say about PJ Washington. And I'm sick and tired of people talking about basketball, like you could just turn anybody into Draymond Green.
Hell no, you can't. You cannot just turn anybody into that level of passer.
And that's the problem that I have with Ox. That's the problem that I have with Ox when he talks about how simple this shit is. It's not, man. If it was that simple, everybody would be doing it at a high level, and they're not.
It's also the crispness of those passes. So when Draymond catches the basketball, hold on one second. If Draymond catches the basketball and he's spraying out, what's the load time and what's the accuracy of that pass? How quickly is he scanning the court? Draymond is friggin' generational when it comes to short roll passing. So his ability as a screener, is putting him in a completely different stratosphere than PJ Washington. And his ability as a cutter, off ball, screener, off the basketball, on the basketball, his ability to play make is all like completely on a different level. And if PJ Washington can do some of that Draymond Green stuff, PJ Washington would be a max player. Easy max player.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ball's in Luka's hands, so he doesn't need that. What I'm saying is the whole situation that we just got into about cutting through from the corner and all this and all that was so unnecessary anyway, because I think your hatred for PJ Washington is clouding the fact that we're talking about he can't shoot the corner three, and that's how they beat OKC.
That wasn't even my take.
Really matter.
My take is not that he can't shoot the corner three. I don't give a shit that he can guard.
My thing is with us even talking about him coming out the corner don't even matter, because they got cooked. They got cooked by leaving him open there doing something y'all said he can't do, so it don't really matter. Like,
I'm the only one who said that Penn's point was just about the outcome of offensive possessions being with PJ Washington.
Yes,
right. And it worked.
In a vacuum. Like we're speaking in a vacuum. Can PJ Washington get on a heater and go 7 for 8 from 3, and then you get 21 points in 8 possessions? Yes.
Yes,
that's how NBA basketball works. But you got, like, thinking of it in a vacuum, PJ Washington outcomes consistently is something you will live with. And I want to notify people of some interesting things. PJ Washington, series by series, he shot 41% on 3 corner threes a game in the first round, 20% on 2.5 above the break threes. That's the first round. In the conference finals, I'm gonna get to OKC loss for suspense. In the conference finals, he was 38% on 3 corner threes a game, 13% on above the break threes on 3 a game. In the NBA finals, he was, bear with me, it's loading. In the NBA finals, he was 14% on corner threes, 1.4 a game. We spoke about how Boston wanted to take away corner threes, big emphasis. 33% on 3 above the break threes a game. Now, in the second round against Oklahoma City, he was 43% on corner threes, so in line with what he did against the Clippers, on 6 attempts a game. Higher volume.
That's crazy.
He shot 57% on above the break threes, taking 2 a game. He just didn't miss against OKC. OKC lost because they played the logical game of PJ Washington outcome, and they just lost.
And that's what happened. Free throws, and they lost.
Yeah, they lost, and they went Hacker Lively, who couldn't make a free throw, and they lost. They played the mathematical game, the logical game. And basketball can be a cruel game sometimes. They just came out on the losing end of it. We understand that, hey, you leave PJ Washington open, there's a chance he can beat you. There's a chance, 1,000%. We understand Derek Lively, not a good free throw shooter. You foul him, there's a chance he can go 4 for 4. Same thing that happened to Giannis in game 6. But we understand bad free throw shooters can make free throws at times. But in a vacuum, the optimal outcome, in Penn's opinion, speaking for Penn, is PJ Washington or Derek Jones Jr. being the usage player, because usage is calculated by who closes the possession. Shooting, drawing a foul, turnovers. If the usage goes to PJ Washington or Derek Jones, the defense against Dallas is viewing that as a successful possession. And typically speaking, that's a good formula. It just so happened that OKC lost because of that formula.
It's so funny to me because Ox said earlier that everyone can score, and I agree with him. Everyone can score. So in a league where everyone can score, your goal is to put people away from where they score well and put them into situations where they don't score well. So my goal with DeMar DeRozan is to leave him at the 3-point line, because chasing him off the 3-point line does not work. It's bad for business, right? My goal with a really good jump shooter who doesn't finish well over length, like a Fred VanVleet, is to funnel him into traffic and for a layup and just contest. This is the outcome of offense, right? We gotta make non-playmakers into playmakers. We gotta make guys look at PJ Washington is a great example. Everyone's talking about the corner three. Well, you know what? In the finals, he was forced to take above the break threes which is where somehow he is even worse.
Right.
So that to me was a genius adjustment. If just say for instance, like, I mean, Ox, if you played post, right?
Ox is a big man. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So if you find out before the game that your guy is like 85% of his possessions, he turns over his left shoulder, you pushing him to right because that's where he's uncomfortable. So if I find out that PJ Washington is a non-playmaker who makes bad decisions with the basketball or makes delayed reactions, is not an on-target passer, is not the greatest finisher, then I'm making him do all those things. And honestly, the whole point here that I think I've been trying to hammer home is that any possession that ends with Kyrie or Luka in one of their spots against one defender is a win.
It's done.
It's a win. Any situation which results in them drawing two defenders and putting the basketball into the hands of an open guy under the basket is a win. And any possession where, you know, I would say someone like Maxi Kleber or someone who's a decent passer coming off one of those double teams and making a play as a secondary playmaker is a win. In no situation where PJ Washington has to make a decision with the basketball other than open shot or open layup is a win for my basketball team. And if I'm the offensive coach, if I'm Jason Kidd, I'm literally designing that as my final option. And if I'm the defensive coach, I'm making that the go-to. I'm going to leave him open all day. I'm going to make him take 45 shots because he's not comfortable in that. And if he scores 80 points that game, then I will live with that outcome. But you are not winning a basketball game with PJ Washington taking 30 shots.
Ox, I know I've done my homework, and I know that I know that the majority of your work is on the right box, about 3 to 4 feet above the right box. That's where I know you like to work. So what I'm going to do as a defender, I'm going to push you as much as I can off that box. And I'm going to do everything that I can. Once I get you off that box, now when the shot clock is going down, I'm going to make things difficult for you. Now you're looking at, okay, how can I score now? This was your spot. This is where you want to be. Now you looking for other guys, cut, go to the basket, move without the basketball. Some of the best teams in the league do that. That's why they're the best teams in the league. Other guys don't see the game like that. That's why they're not that good. So when you tell me that the game is easy, yes, the game is easy. That's why we see the better players and the better teams in the league, because they play with guys that make the game easy. Those other guys, they don't make the game as easy. They don't see the game like that. In fact, not only do they not see the game like that, a lot of these guys couldn't really care. They couldn't care less about it, to be quite honest with you. Not just care about the game, but learning the game. Ox, you and I have had this conversation more than once, more than twice. How many of these dudes actually know how to play basketball? So if they knew how to play basketball, they would know how to adjust, right? They would know how to, they would understand, if I got a guy that's sagging off of me, there's no reason for me to, if I got a guy that's sagging off me, he's sagging off me because he doesn't think that I can shoot. So I got to make him honest. I got to knock down some shots to make him honest as a defender. Once I do that, now we can get more into action, because now he's an honest defender and I can drag him away from you whenever you go to the basket. He can't help off me. He can't help off me anymore, because now he knows I'm a threat to knock down open shots. But if I'm just standing in the corner and he's sagging off me, if I cut through, I'm still a guy who can't make shots. That's really what I am, still on the floor.
All right, y'all. Like the video if you haven't. Man, we on here talking real hoop. All right, I don't know what your the other shows that you listen to or tune into, I don't know what they do. I know over here we talk real basketball, X's and O's, and things of that nature. I got some super chats, so I'm gonna go ahead and dive into that. I also want to shout out all of our members, shout out all of our viewers, and once again, in case you don't know, today is the last day to sign up for the PCL. So if you got what it takes to come up here and debate with the greats, scan that QR code right under pin, or you can scan this bigger QR code right here and enter the PCL. It's a 7-week NBA debate tournament. You will have one debate a week, and then we'll get into the playoffs as well. If you want to win $1,000 and come up here and debate with the greats, go ahead and scan this QR code. You have an opportunity to join. All you have to do is scan that. Today is the last day. We will be selecting our wild cards this week. Tomorrow.
If you debate basketball with me, you will become disowned by your family. Just letting you know.
You bring dishonor.
You will bring dishonor to your family.
All right, y'all. DSG Piccolo sent through a super chat. He said the Jazz are reportedly prioritizing B pods over cum bucket from the Warriors, along with a crazy amount of picks Ainge wants. Thoughts? Good job reading, Ron. Thanks, DSG. I just upgraded my Hooked on Phonics membership to the premium level. So
Nice.
only $24.99 too. You would think it would be more.
Nice job.
Thanks for
Ron.
noticing, DSG. I
Nice
always
job,
liked you, DSG. But how do we feel about B pods over cum bucket?
It makes
Number one,
sense.
we got to come up with a different name. I know that for a fact.
No, we don't have to.
We got to come up with something.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Podziemski, by any objective measure, I mean, also by the eye test, the better shooter, the smarter player, the higher IQ player, smarter in terms of just understanding the game, higher IQ in terms of feel for the game, the better defender, the more impactful player. I believe he's the same age as Kuminga.
Why do you think that is, Mars?
But I think what?
Why do you think that the stuff that you're talking about with pods, why do you think that is?
Well, I think he's a better shooter because he's just more skilled. But the feel for the game and the higher IQ, I think he didn't have to rely on athleticism as much.
I think it has a lot to do with him having to go to school too.
I mean, yeah, the G League isn't. Yeah, I wouldn't credit the G League with creating high IQ players.
And on top of that,
but yeah, I think once again, this is just my opinion. I don't have any objective fact to prove this. There might be people who disagree with me. I think when you are such an outlier athlete, you don't have to think the game as much as someone who's not. I think your athleticism can make up for things you might lack in terms of feel and understanding of where to be, because you're quick enough that you can recover if you're out of position on defense. You run fast enough in transition that even if you don't fill the lane correctly, you can still get the ball and finish. All of those like minute details don't seem to show up when you are such a great athlete that it's not as important that it needs to. But I think once you get to higher levels of basketball and your athleticism can't save you, it becomes really telling that you don't really have the same feel for the game as someone else. And I think Podziemski just has a clearer understanding of feel for the game, whether that's just because he takes a bunch of charges. I don't know where he ranked in charges. I'm certain it was top 5 in the NBA in charges drawn. Whether it's him understanding how to rebound as a 6'4" guard, he's a better rebounder than Kuminga is. His ability, he's 6'4", right? Podziemski?
6'5". They got him listed as 6'4".
Okay, 6'4", 6'5". As a 6'4", 6'5" guard, his understanding of rebounding and knowing where the ball's coming off the rim, and then his obviously ability to stretch the floor, but his feel for understanding angles in pick and roll, his tertiary playmaking feel, his connected passing, his quick processing speed, all of those things. For a team like the Jazz, who are so, it seemed like hell-bent on high IQ, feel for the game, guys who can make decisions quickly, all of those things, it makes sense that they would view Podziemski as the more valuable player for them in terms of how Will Hardy runs his offense.
And Santa Clara is a school for thinkers. You know what I'm saying? Most
I'm also biased towards Santa Clara too because Steve Nash. So
okay.
I was high on J-Dub for his game and stuff. Yeah.
Most people that go to Santa Clara that play for that team, you know, they're usually bright people, you know.
So they know the game. I still think that, and I understand your logic, Mars. I think that Kuminga is a lot smarter than what I give him credit for. I think the biggest problem is that he had to learn on the fly immediately with this team. I think that if he was with somebody else where the developmental process was a little bit slower, I think that he would be a lot more ahead of the curve, as opposed to him getting into not into pre-calculus. He got into trigonometry right from the beginning. He went right to calculus. He didn't get a chance to go to pre-calculus, and he didn't have a lot of time to learn. He didn't have a lot of time to make mistakes because he jumped on a crew that was basically championship ready, and they needed him to fill out right now. They didn't need him to fill out more in 3 or 4 years. Podziemski, on the other hand, the Golden State Warriors are on the other side of who they used to be. So I feel like the developmental process is becoming a little bit more prevalent than it was back then, even though Steph Curry is where he is and he's still in his prime. But the fact that Clay is going the other way, the fact that Draymond is going the other way, I feel like they're more in tune. And I would hope that they were more in tune in developing guys like Pods and Moody. But I will tell you this, I think this Kuminga shit is smoke and mirrors, guys. I do. I don't think that Danny Ainge has any intention in moving off of this dude. I think he's checking the temperature. of the league to find out what this guy's worth is. And once why did I just forget his name that quickly?
Lauri?
But yeah, once Markkanen has another breakout season where he's an all-star, something like that, not a price tag gets jacked up.
He'd have to move him this trade deadline, right? In this season, this is his last season.
Because he's expiring. But they can extend him.
Okay.
If they extend him, there's a certain date. Can't remember the date. I'm not worried too much business. If they extend him before that date, they can still trade him by the deadline. If they extend him after that date, he can only be traded in the offseason.
Literally,
I mean, because what they're asking for him still is crazy, still though. Because like what they offer him first, Moses Moody and some picks, and he was like, "Nah, I want more picks, Moses Moody, B-Pop, and JK." Like, Danny Ainge not playing with.
Man, Danny Ainge is playing. He just toying with the Warriors. He's not serious about this.
He's not going to trade him to them. He's just trying to waste. He's trying to.
He's seeing how serious you guys are. How much do you guys value him?
Mm-hmm.
But Austerity said, "Can we admit Bronny is trash now?"
Yes,
he's the 55th pick.
Still trash.
Who was the 54th pick in the draft?
No idea.
Who was the 48th pick in the draft?
No idea.
Oh, that was Jordan Miller. That was Jordan Miller. No, that was
how about 51?
48 this year.
How about the 52nd pick?
I can tell you 57 is doing really well.
I get what you guys are saying. That is a fair point. I feel like
57 is your Toronto Raptors guy, right?
The fact that he's the 55th pick, it's like, could y'all please relax? Like, the dude's not supposed to be a superstar. He's not supposed to be an all-star.
He needs to be here.
We know why they're gonna keep bringing this up.
So you're saying he's not a top five? He's not top five?
Oh shit!
No,
he's not a top five.
But we don't know.
I think we can come to terms with the fact that he, at this point, I don't want to, with all due respect, at this point he is trash for an NBA player.
Why is he though? Why is he trash?
He's not.
You're gonna
ready.
say because he should have stayed in school?
He's just not ready. He's too small. You know what I'm saying? I think those are the main things. He's not good enough yet. You know what I'm saying? That's not a big deal. Like, whatever.
He puts no pressure on the defense.
I think he can get good enough, but yeah, I mean, so sure, we can say
this has nothing to do with
no big deal.
I'm rooting for him because I hate his haters. That's it. That's the only reason I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him because it's a lot of pressure to put on a kid. What he went through this past year, have some empathy for it, have a heart, I mean, literally, like, what he went through is one of the scariest things that, a kid that age could go through. But man, like, the basketball skill, like, what do you do on a basketball court as an undersized guard? You got to put pressure on the rim. You got to be a scoring threat. You got to be a shooting threat, or you got to be a playmaking threat. There's so many times, or you got to be the lights out defender. You got to do something. And he's out there doing almost nothing. And that to me is crazy. Like he is a little bit undersized. We listed 6'4" for the longest time. Combine showed differently, right? He still has a plus wingspan. Everyone talking about here, like, oh, he's gonna be Davion. Holy shit. Go watch Davion at Baylor.
That's what I hate. The comparisons to these, like, guys who got a role as pesky defenders who pick up full court, can guard.
Did you see who JJ compared him to?
Lu Dort.
That's crazy.
Like, they didn't see these. They didn't see these, like, in school.
I mean,
Davion was a legitimate point guard who was a great defender.
Yes,
I've heard him compared to, like, 100%. Marcus Smart. Go watch Marcus Smart at OSU. Like, these guys were legitimate point guards who then fell into a role in the NBA where they can still carry some initiation. They can some of them can still shoot, and they're elite defenders. This guy was a not very good college player who's now in the summer league, and he's just bad. Like, before,
Mars, did you see Marcus Smart at Oklahoma State, Mars?
Yes,
Marcus Smart was a demon.
Marcus Smart was so good at Oklahoma State.
He was in consideration for the first overall pick.
Bro, remember he got to that shit. Remember he got to that situation.
That little fight
scuffle. Yeah.
He got to that, and then people was like, "Oh, he's a thug or whatever." This and that. Marcus Smart. I don't ever compare Bronny to Marcus.
Like, that's what bothers me. Like, comparing them to those guys, like, they were really good in college at actually doing things, and they fell into roles where they were lesser than what they were in college. You're asking Bronny to elevate what he was in college. Right. At the end, like Aaron Holiday, I've heard him compared to Aaron Holiday. Watch Aaron Holiday at UCLA. That's a point guard who's now fell into a role where he had to do other things and he can shoot the ball at a high level. none of these guys were bad college players who then would elevate their role in the NBA.
Right.
That hasn't happened.
Now,
Mars, it's about him growing into that role, though. Like, obviously he's not up to these guys' standards. And you're right. A lot of these guys did fall into these roles because Marcus Smart was so good at Oklahoma State. He was one of 3 people that played for the select team in college. And one is Cooper Flagg, which he's obviously in high school.
Was one of them, right?
Dirk McDermott and Marcus Smart are the only players to be on the national select team as college players. So that's how good Marcus Smart was. Davion Mitchell, he was really a superstar at Baylor. And some of these other guys too. But they essentially fell into a role because they went from being the best player on the team to obviously becoming a role player on a good team. But you don't think Bronny can grow into a role? Keep in mind, all prospects for the most part grow into a role.
There's a reason, Ron. There's a reason why those guys grew into those roles. The reason why they grew into those roles is because they were groomed. Marcus Smart was the reason why I looked at James the way I looked at him. Was predicated on him being in school and developing into that, because that's what Marcus Smart developed into. That's what Davion Mitchell. A lot of you guys don't. I'm not sure you guys know this. Davion Mitchell, his first season in college, he averaged 4 points and 2 assists. That's it. That's all he did. But he developed into a great point guard. He ended up transferring to a different school, developed into a great point guard. He didn't, after those 4 points, come into the league, which he clearly was not ready to do. Clearly, he wasn't ready to do. This is predicated on James staying in school and developing his ball handling, developing his IQ, because those guys in college, those are his peers. The guys that you see in the NBA, the guys that you see in the summer league, these guys are not his peers. These guys are a level above him because he's not ready to be at that level yet. Now, don't get me wrong, Ron. I can appreciate the logic that who better to learn from than your father. If I'm a lawyer, if my father's the best trial lawyer in the state, okay, I'm going to learn from my father. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to graduate from law school and be on the case of the century with my father. I'm not prepared to do that. I should probably get some other cases first before I even go there. Bronny, when you comparing him to guys like Marcus Smart, like Davion Mitchell, that's predicated on him staying in school and developing in that mold of a player, because that's the kind of player that I see him as.
Chill. I don't want Bronny to learn from Bron. Like, I damn near, this might sound crazy. I want Bronny the furthest thing away from Bron as possible. Like, you can't, what can he learn from Bron?
So if that's true, then Ron, if that's true, then everything that we're saying about this kid is wrong, and the focus should be put on his father. Because I can tell you right now, as much as he says, yo, this is his decision. If his father would have told him to go back to school, he would have took his ass back to school. I'm sure.
He for sure should have. I would if I was Bron, and I hate saying this because I'm not Bron and that's not my son. But
he wasn't ready.
If that was my son, I would have said, take your ass back to school.
He wasn't ready.
Yeah, what's the saying? 2 years away from being 2 years away?
Yes.
He's about 3 years away
from being 35 years away.
Yeah, he's
all right. Y'all just being
he
nasty.
might
he's 3 years away from being 35 years away.
Ron, if you look,
he's 3 years away from being a great grandpa.
Ron, he's not very. Ron,
you know what?
Right now,
I'm gonna talk to y'all like this because this is crazy.
Right now, he's not very good. Like
Mars, he might hit a late growth spurt or something.
Even if he did,
that was crazy.
Even if he, let's just say, okay, Ox. Let's just say for the sake of argument, he grew to 6'5" over the next year or two. I'm not saying
he could be a late grower. He could be a late grower.
6'1" to 6'5" at this age? That's hard.
I don't know if you know this, but Scottie Pippen, as a freshman in college, he was 6'1". When he left, he was 6'8". So
when Ron was 18, he was 6'1".
Right. And Ron grew more. And Ron grew more. Ron
what you like 6'5", Ron? 6'4"?
Yeah, Ron about 6'4", 6'5", something like that.
6'6" on a good day.
So with that,
now we're reaching.
So with that being said, even if he did have a growth spurt, I mean, the skill set has to catch up. With the skill set catching up, he still has to have the mentality. I don't think that I think that all of this pressure that's put on him was put on him from other people. This ain't him. I don't think any of these people really asked him what it is he wants to do. Because if you guys had this kid's best interest in hand, if you really did, you'd have sent him back to school. Because he clearly isn't ready for this. Clearly, he just looks like another guy. There are flashes, don't get me wrong. There are times when I see stuff where I'm like, okay, we can work with this. Okay, when he slices to the basket and he'll dunk the ball or something like that, I'm like, okay, we can work with this. But for the most part, he just looks like another guy. That's what he looks like.
I spoke to Ox about this prematurely in the Telegram group chat. Join the Telegram group chat if you want. He's just very indecisive with everything he does. And that's because Penn alluded to it, that like if you're a small guard, you have to like put pressure on the defense. He really doesn't do that. Like if he's open, he hesitates to shoot. He's attacking closeouts that don't exist. And then if he takes a step inside the 3-point line, if he sees any defender within a 14-mile radius, he's pulling up. He won't go all the way to the basket if there's any resistance. So he's not collapsing the defense. On the outside, he'll do like one hezzy. If no one bites, he's just kicking it across. No advantages are being created anywhere. And then he'll just go drift over to the corner, and he can't shoot right now. And I don't take summer league percentages with like too much seriousness, because it's such a small sample size. You can go cold for a game or two, and all of a sudden you're shooting 27%. But he's not a shooter from the NBA line.
Where do you think that comes from, Mars? The stuff that you talked about, like how indecisive he is. Where do you think that comes from?
I mean, we spoke about it last week. He's grown up a role player. Like he's never been in a situation where he's been a focal point. He's always been at Sierra Canyon. He was playing next to 5-star recruits, and he was a spot-up shooter who played good defense and got ranked top 20 and made an All-American. Was an All-American, but he was still a role player. Right. Then he goes to USC. He has the heart thing, which he deserves a ton of credit for being able to come back, get back on the basketball court, and play at all. Sure. He gets credit for that. And also, like, Bronny James is in a luxurious position in the fact that if he didn't want to pursue a career in basketball, he'd still be set financially. Mm-hmm. He's not doing this because he needs to support his family or anything.
That's not going on. No,
he's doing this because he genuinely loves to play basketball. He wants to be a professional basketball player. He's not doing this because he has no other choice. There's no other avenue in life. He's doing this because he wants to play basketball. So that for me shows a desire and a love for the game. That you can have a love for the game because I've got no other option. If I want to support my family, I want to get our family out of the struggle we're in. Sure. This is what I got to do. You can also have a love for the game in the case that I'd be set for life if I didn't pursue this. I'd want to do this so much that I'm willing to put in all this time and effort that I don't have to. I don't have to put in time and effort into this game because I'm going to be fine without it. But he wants to do that. So I want to give him credit for that. But I think just the indecisiveness comes from he's never been in a position where he's been asked to or he's needed to put any pressure on a defense. But unfortunately, at the NBA level, everyone has to be able to pressure a defense in some capacity. Whether that's you get guards at the 3-point line because you're in a legitimate spacer, whether that's because you can drive downhill and collapse the defense, whether that's because you can draw a closeout and get downhill and keep the advantage going, something. He doesn't do anything that puts a defense at any sort of risk of creating a good shot. The ball goes into Bronny James' hands right now, and the defense is comfortable with whatever the outcome is. Him shooting an open three, him driving and taking an 18-foot pull-up, which he loves to do, him trying to take floaters. The only time in which he's somewhat solid is if he leaks out in transition. And even then, he doesn't even fill lanes that well. So even then, And then he obviously applies ball pressure at the point of attack on defense, but he's still small. So there's a lot of things he doesn't do very well right now, but he is 19. So if he stayed in college and he came out as a 22-year-old, would he be a different player? Possibly. Yes. So I'm not going to say he never will be anything because I think it's way too early to say that. But right now, he's just bad. Like, there's no way
I hate more than Bronny supporters are Bronny haters. That's where I'm at with this entire situation.
There's no reason why a 55th pick should have as much attention as he gets. It's not doing him any justice.
And honestly, this just comes down to, the sins of the father will be carried on to the son, right? Everybody is venting. You can't say shit about LeBron because he's one of the greatest players of all time. So you're venting out all your frustrations about the GM, the coach, all that stuff. All that pent up frustration against LeBron is coming out now against Bronny. He didn't ask for this. He didn't say, yo, pick me 55. I doubt it. I doubt that. He seems like a really good kid. He also went through the health thing. I empathize. I just hope that people realize that the conversation about Bronny James is not whether or not he can be Davion Mitchell or whether he can be Marcus Smart. The question that y'all should be asking is, when Bronny James steps on an NBA court, will he be the worst basketball player in NBA history? and that is very much on the table.
History?
Who's the worst
History.
player in NBA history? Who's the worst? Who's the worst player?
Relatively
since the
speaking,
start of the National Basketball Association.
Also
is
not
what you're asking.
I'm not going that far,
bro. Okay,
who's the worst player you've ever seen play in an NBA
since the 80s? Okay, I'm just saying, in a point where there are guys in the G League right now, straight up G League, that will be pushing all-star in like 50 years ago. If you just build a time machine, put them back, like they're that good. I've seen some guys in the G League that are serious basketball players. There's some guys in EuroLeague right now that could definitely play in the league. Okay, there's like, in the league, historically, there have been 450, 400, 300, whatever, when the league was a little bit smaller. I'm just saying, there's not 450 basketball players in this world. There's close to 1,000 NBA basketball players in this world, just 450 jobs. Okay, there's some guys in the G League, some guys in prison, some guys, injured, some guys, whatever. Shit happens.
The big three, yeah.
But my question is he one of those 1,000 guys? That's the question. Is he one of the 1,000 best basketball players in the world? Are you crazy right now?
No. I'm gonna ask this question. And I'm being 1,000% serious when I ask this, so don't take it as a troll. Is Bronny James undoubtedly better than LiAngelo Ball?
No, he's not at all. What are we talking about?
I'm not trolling when I ask that question.
I think so.
He's not.
I think so.
There's 100 players in Division I basketball right now. There's 200 players in Division I basketball right now that are better basketball players than him. I'm not joking when I say that. There was a guy. Hold on. There was a guy. There's a guy.
I asked the question. I'm not hate. I said
Brendan Carlson.
I think he's better than LiAngelo.
Brendan Carlson, who was a most generous 25th. I think he's 25 years old. He's a stretch big out of Utah. The Raptors signed him to a two-way. This guy is like 50 times better player right now than Bronny James. The fact is he's 25 years old and he's a little bit scrawny, but the dude can shoot. The dude blocked 6 shots the last game. There are so many guys in Division I basketball. Look at the Drew Timmies and the Oscar Tshiebwes of the world. I'm talking straight basketball, right? They may not have a projectable NBA role, but that's also a criticism that you could levy towards Bronny James. If his name is not Bronny James, he doesn't get drafted. That is fact. He would go back to school, and what he develops into is anybody's guess. I am rooting for the kid. I want to put that out there to anyone who accuses me of being a Bronny hater. I'm not a Bronny hater, and people always get surprised. They're like, yo, you are supporting him? Yes, I am supporting him from the human side of it, because I cannot imagine a 19-year-old basketball player who's been under this level of pressure through no fault of his own. He didn't get to choose to be born. He didn't get to choose. The dude loves to play basketball. Seems like a genuinely good kid. He's not coming out saying, I deserve this, I deserve that, I deserve to start. He's not an ego maniac or whatever, right? So what I get from it is I'm rooting for the kid. I hope he succeeds. But objectively, he is not one of the 1,000, 1,500. He's not one of the 2,000 best basketball players in this world. Bro, basketball is played everywhere. You know how many pro leagues there are? You know how many Division I, Division II athletes there are? Yo, I'm just putting it out. He's 19 years old. He doesn't need to be one of the top 1,000 players right now. He's 19.
I do disagree with y'all and talk about he doesn't want to be there. Like this is Bron making him do this. Like I think that's kind of crazy. I don't think he would be in the NBA or would have went to the draft if he didn't want to. I think once he realized like, okay, I can get drafted. I think he looks at it kind of the same way I was saying. Like he's gonna keep getting better one way or another if he keeps working at his craft. So it's kind of like, do I want to get better in the league? Or do I want to get better at college? Or do I want to go play in Australia? Do I want to be, whatever. So the idea that LeBron James is forcing his son to be here, I'm not willing to make that statement. I'm not going to speculate that. I think that's kind of crazy.
Let me just make a point here. Vince Carter is 47 years old right now.
Okay? Please don't, Pin. Please don't, bro.
Vince Carter is a better player right now than Bronny James.
Today?
Unquestionably.
What?
I really don't think that's that crazy. I really don't.
Unquestionably.
But I don't know about Vince Carter, but do you know what ISO Joe would do to him right now?
Yes. Bro, I'm watching Big Three, bro. I'm watching these guys, these old guys. Y'all think they can't, but Vince is a generational athlete. Vince played till he was 43. Don't act like I'm crazy. He was an NBA
Yeah,
role player.
I mean,
before
Vince was in the
he's a
league in
great
2019.
shooter.
Vince was in the league in 2019.
Vince and Joe Johnson are better than a lot of NBA players. It's just Father Time is no joke. They can't play an
legit question right now. Hold on. Okay,
right.
chill.
Yep.
Michael Jordan's 60 years old, right? He's 60
on,
plus.
man.
He's 62. Hold up. If Michael
He's
Jordan against
61.
Bronny James right now, he's 61. Michael
Wait,
Jordan against
one-on-one?
Bronny James right now, 1-on-1. Who's winning?
Jordan would get his ass tore up by his kid.
61.
Jordan can't stay in front of him. But when
No.
Jordan has the ball, I think Jordan getting some buckets though. You know what I'm saying? Like, but come on, though. That's going too far. That's going
it's
too
not
far.
going far enough.
The fourth, like Richard Jefferson.
I think you gotta go
Right.
Bronny.
Richard Jefferson. If Paul Pierce got in the gym for 4 months, you know those guys. Yeah, hell
Bro,
yeah. I
let me put it this way.
get with that, but not. But like Ron said, all these guys still got game. They just can't hold up for 82 games. Now, if you put them in the gym for a couple hours and set them check up, I think they torching a lot of these young dudes.
Bro,
Melo would still give work.
I know Dion somewhere in the universe right now punching air. But let me just put this out there. AJ Davansa is 16 years old right now. AJ Davansa would kill Bronny James right now. Bet money. I would bet my
in a
life.
one-on-one, yeah, I got AJ in a one-on-one, but Bus was not one-on-one game.
I got a little cousin. I got a little cousin that go to Cal Poly. I'll put every dollar I got on
him.
Yeah, but you're talking about
would destroy him. Cameron Boozer, Caden Booth. Bro, there are 100 kids right now. I'm just putting it out there. The next 2 drafts are loaded for a reason. There are 100 kids right now that if they were in this past draft, most GMs, every GM would have taken them over him. I'm just throwing it out there to the people who focus on those 450 jobs. You're not paying attention. There's guys
who just made a very good point. Sorry.
Who?
Is Bronny better than his head coach?
No. Right now, if they played one-on-one,
y'all are some real life.
That's a very good point that I never thought about.
How old is JJ Redd? Wait. How old is JJ Redd?
JJ was in the league.
An NBA player play basketball after his
2021.
So he was just in the league. I think New Orleans was his last stop.
Bro,
So
he works out every day.
Was it Dallas? Okay, so
JJ
he's not that far
in the
removed.
league 3 years.
He's not that far removed. At 40 years old,
He would destroy him.
Here's one of the things with Bronny though.
In front of Bronny, Bronny will torch him too. Like, come on.
Remember coming into the league, it was 2 things that we were very high on with Bronny. Well, one thing, and it's a role, 3-and-D. We were high that Bronny was going to be able to be to transition into a 3-and-D role. Well, the thing about it is the defense has been okay, but I don't know if you guys know this. Bronny's 0 for 15 from 3 in the summer league.
oh my god,
He hasn't made a 3 yet.
He was like 0 for 8.
Is that a fact?
Well, and there goes your space. All that space you need to drive on these older guys. There goes your space. They're just letting you shoot. And by the way, all those threes you're missing, JJ Redick's making those threes with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
Eyes closed. JJ Redick right now, half court. Okay, hold on. JJ Redick, half court.
No, hell no.
JJ Redick at the half court right now. Bro, I watch a lot of NBA players, just after they're done. Like I watched Leo Routens. I watched Leo Routens at age 50. And he wasn't anywhere near the shooter that JJ Redick is. And I saw this guy hitting like 18, 19 shots from like 6 feet behind the line. These NBA players are unreal. So I'm gonna put it this way: JJ Redick would smoke him.
Bro, not in a one-on-one, he wouldn't, bro.
Yes,
like
he would.
if they were having to shoot, you say that like so confident and so serious that it makes me think that you really mean it. When I know you really don't, you can't possibly think that.
I do mean it. Bro,
like if they were
OJ Mayo went up against Michael Jordan at 39 and got destroyed by him, right?
Michael.
OJ Mayo was amazing.
What you just said, Penn, has absolutely nothing to do with what you just said before that. You said Michael Jordan. Come on, bro. I'm not going to entertain you.
If we're talking to Bronny James, what Michael Jordan was to OJ Mayo. Let me just put that. The ratio is exact.
I was there for the whole OJ Mayo thing. I seen OJ all that. Yeah, he was amazing. You just said Michael Jordan, so let's stop that. But what I'm saying is this:
Jordan destroyed him.
If they were having
like 43 years old, by the way.
43.
They were having a shooting competition or something like that. Then okay, yeah, of course JJ will win. but playing one-on-one, there's no way he can't beat Bronny, bro. Could y'all stop this, please? Please.
He's stronger than him.
You just said that the only thing you hate more than Bronny is the Bronny hater, and then you just come up here and just hate it for.
I'm not hating.
Years.
I'm being
Hate.
real.
You just asked if Michael Jordan, that's 62 years old, could beat him. Then you said
it can definitely come across as hating.
Bro,
if we're talking about, I'm not a hater.
Jordan will die on the court before losing that game. I'll tell you that right now. No, bro. Look, what I'm trying to do here. No, honestly, look, I'm just trying to be real. Okay, I'm trying to keep it a stack, right?
Be real, bro. Don't go too
no,
far.
I am being for real when I tell you that this guy does not have a discernible NBA skill. He is not good enough defensively right now to be a lockdown defender in the NBA. He might get there someday, and that might be his one saving grace. But no,
all right, so we
can't.
We got to keep it pushing. We all understand that as of right now, Bronny, you bring dishonor to your family. We need you to make some threes, Bronny. We need you to make some threes. But I got a lot of super chats to get through. You guys got to like the video, make that happen. But we got to get to the title of the show. I asked you guys, who's the real number one option for Team USA moving forward? And I need you guys to give me your top 4 number one options in order. So who do you think should be the number one option? If not that guy, who do you think should be the next best number one option? If not, who do you think is the next best number one option? I need your top 4.
Bronny James.
I think Jason Tatum should be the
number one
option. Yeah.
And why do you think that?
Because he's at that peak, at that prime point of his career. He's got, you know what I'm saying, he's got the size, the body to be able to, and the skill set to score from all over the court. I think that's if we were just to rely on JT to be the number one option, I think they'll be in a good situation.
Okay. And what about, and then who else do you have after him? Who's the next best number one option?
Next after that would probably be Ant, Steph. I don't know if KD will be healthy.
KD counts. Yeah,
right?
KD counts.
KD. Oh, okay. Well then,
is he gonna play? By the way,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In the Olympics.
I forgot about Joel. My bad.
Get Joel off the floor. Get Joel.
Yeah, I'm not really. I still don't think Joel should be playing, but that's neither here nor there. I don't have, my opinion doesn't matter on that. He's there. So I would say if I had to choose 4 to run, I would probably go with I want to go with the younger group here though. I want to go with guys like JT and Devin Booker and Joel. I would put them in there. That would be my 4 right there, Ron.
All right. Mars.
So number one option just means number one scoring option, right?
Who you're putting the ball in their hands the most. So essentially, who has the ball in their hands the most, who's taking the most shots, and I guess kind of essentially who plays the most as well.
Oh, well, those are 3 different things. Okay.
Not the same thing, Ron.
Ball in the hands the most, Bron. Takes the most shots, probably Ant. And what was the third one? Most minutes?
Yeah.
Someone.
Well, we're gonna narrow it down to one thing though, because I want this to be clear. So let's just say number one option is who takes the most shots.
Okay, Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards is gonna take the most shots.
And then
gonna take or should take?
Should
gonna take. Oh,
or who should take?
Yeah. Who do you think should be the number one option?
Oh, I think Kevin Durant should take the most shots. I don't think he's going to, but I think he should take the most shots. Yeah. So KD is where I'll go with KD.
All right, and then who else do you have after that? Let me get your top 4 number one options.
Okay, KD.
Mars, you still on this KD logic, Mars? You still on it, man. Even though you'll tell me, even though you'll tell me you missed the downhill KD, even though you'll tell me that you missed the explosive KD, you still think he's the best? You still think he's the
FIBA basketball don't need downhill KD. They need someone who is unstoppable from 18 to 20 feet. You get the ball to KD anywhere.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a big in the lane anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the downhill threat because it's not like the NBA where you need to collapse the defense and kick out and put a defense in rotation.
Yeah.
You need someone who can score with limited amount of dribbles, quick attacks from anywhere on the court. international basketball is tailor-made for KD to score the basketball. That's why he's the all-time Olympic scorer, I believe, or the USA scorer, I'll say USA, because I think that Brazilian Oscar Schmidt or whoever is the leading scorer. So all-time USA basketball leading scorer.
Right.
That's the reason why. I think Kevin Durant is tailor-made. Kevin Durant can be 40 and will be tailor-made for the international game. It's Kevin Durant. So KD will be my number one. Number two, strictly volume, I don't think he'll be Steph, but I just think he'll shoot enough threes that by mathematics it will add up to more points. So Steph or Devin Booker, Jason Tatum. That's where I'll go. Those four. KD, Steph, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum.
Got you. Okay. Pin?
Almost identical. So it's KD, Curry, Ant, and Jason Tatum. I will say this. I would love to see Steph and KD centric offense with LeBron, JT, and like one of Drew Holiday or Derek White. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Go super small. You don't need to be super big. LeBron's big dude. Jason Tatum can fully play the four.
Mm-hmm.
The passing would be insane. The defense would be really good. And if you end up facing a really big team, then you can go to Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid is, to be honest, the worst part of Team USA because it just completely changes how they play basketball. And they're going away from some of their beautiful strengths, and you don't need them. You really don't. If there's ever a team in history, in NBA history, international history, that does not need Joel Embiid, it's a team with Bam Adebayo and Anthony Davis. I think you need that big to just be a rotation guy who can set screens. And honestly, who better to do that than Bron and, someone like Tatum? Both these guys have a lot of experience playing off of really dynamic guards. And Steph would stretch the court. He would stretch the angles a little bit. He would try to, he sort of vertically space out the court that's sort of condensed. And at some point, you're going to go up against those two behemoths in France, right? With Victor Wembanyama, and your post offense is just going to be very, very limited because they can camp out all day in the paint. There's no defensive 3 seconds in FIBA. And so you're going to have to, you know what I mean? You need to stretch it out. And I think KD and Steph would be a really great way to orient the offense. Devin Booker would be number 5 for me, though. Yeah.
One of the main reasons why FIBA is what it is because these international players, when they play defense, they make you play defense with their offense by moving the basketball, making the action continuous. And if you don't have guys like that can continuously play defense, then they get melted on the offensive end of the floor. So a guy like James in his advanced age, I can't have him constantly with the ball in his hands because if he was, then he'd get melted on defense. So I can't have him as the guy. Jason Tatum isn't the playmaker that James is. He is a distributor. He can get downhill and get guys open, and he can score. But on the defensive end, I think it's a little bit trickier. So if I had to pick between guys, I would like Tatum because he's younger, but Ant Edwards, I feel like he's more dynamic considering what the international game is, how wide open it is. So I'd say Jason Tatum, I'd say Anthony Edwards, I'd say Steph Curry, and then after that, I'd say Kevin Durant. Just off the strength of Kevin
Tatum's
Durant.
lack of playmaking or lesser than playmaking relative to his peers, does that not worry you at all?
No, because
around him?
Well, the reason why it doesn't, because what I saw in the playoffs, when I saw him doing the other stuff, and I saw him how much better he was at the other stuff, I still feel like that there's more room to grow in that. I mean, as a scorer, I feel like I don't think that there's much more there. I feel like he probably is who he is as a bucket getter, to be quite honest with you. I do think he can improve his post game, which he did this year, but as a bucket getter, I feel like I don't think that there's much more there, more than it is just, this is who he is. And a guy like KD, I would have KD higher on the list if KD was younger and more explosive. I understand, Mars, that his game is tailored to the international game, and it was fantastic 4, 8 years ago when he was younger, when he had that explosiveness. He just doesn't have it as much as he used to. He can still do it. He just can't do it like he used to. That's why I don't have him as much. That's why I don't have him as high on the list as I did, and I would in the past.
I don't think being 35 years old should be held against Kevin Durant. If you can hoop, you can hoop.
Oh, that part I won't argue. He can hoop, but the difference is that he's clearly been slowed down. That's the issue. I don't think that his ability to score things
Still
like
like
that.
7 feet tall. Who's
Yeah,
Wait,
but
didn't you have Steph above KD on the
Yes,
hierarchy?
Yes, I do. And here's the
Steph's
difference.
older.
Here's the difference. The difference with Steph Curry is a long ball shooter, which is great for the international game. 100%.
KD can't shoot deep.
Not like Steph Curry. Not like Curry. And not just that. Not like Curry in the aspect of Curry not just being that, but Curry also being able to put the ball on the floor and not go deep into the defense. I don't have to do that sort of stuff. No.
I don't necessarily want to tailor an offense around Kevin Durant because he also struggles with the playmaking sometimes, especially with the shrunken down floor angles. He's sometimes loose with the passes. But man, like when I look at the guys who historically, just to echo, like sort of repeat what Mars said, like the guys who historically do very well in the international game, it's guys like Melo and guys like KD. Frankly, I think a guy like DeMar DeRozan would have done really well on this team as well. So not that you're trying to get all the 35-year-olds together, but I understand the youth upside program, whatever, but this is the Olympics. You do that shit next year. You get the ball to your best player. And if that ends up being Anthony Edwards because he's on a proven mission, that's fine. But I don't think he's the best player on this team at all. And I just think that it'll be to their detriment. Anthony Edwards wants the gun to be the guy, or Joel Embiid wants to prove something or whatever. I think it's kind of getting in the way of the best 5-man unit on the court, which includes neither one of them.
Yeah, I like Ant in that sixth and Jason Tatum. I like them both in that 6-man role where it's like, yo, y'all two come in with it's 10-minute quarters. Y'all come in 7-8 minutes into the game and just kill.
What if KD plays the 5? KD at the 5,
Yeah,
Bron at the 4,
depending on
Tatum at the 3. Think about that. Think about
I
that.
can see Steve Kerr doing that.
But here's
That's
the thing, though,
crazy,
Mars. Depending on who we can't do that against Serbia. No, we can't do that against France. I don't think so.
Yeah, but hold on. You can for one reason, because now Jokic has to guard one of those 3 guys, which is big time trouble for Nikola Jokic. Right? So I would say the best offense, like first of all, the USA is one of those teams. I think about it like when you face the best team in your state when you're growing up. There's like teams out there, they could beat you 85 different ways. They can go through their bench, they can go through shooting, they can run you in transition. The USA is a team that can win the gold medal in like 10 different ways. Most other teams do not have 10 different ways that they can win. The USA can start different lineups and still win. They could play deeper into the bench and still win. They could be a very 3-point heavy offense and still win. They can do it a lot of different ways. My hope is that they don't choose the one way that's going to cost them. Right?
Which way is that?
Going through Joel Embiid. Going through Joel Embiid, trying to match up against Jokic for Embiid, and then losing that battle because he's going to lose that battle in the international game. And then your defense doesn't recover. And you know what I mean? Like you got excellent glue guys. You got Drew Holiday, Derek White. I think Jason Tatum is also gluey in a sense. Like he can be glue guy defensively. You get LeBron James. He can be very connective when he's off the ball. He can be connective. Steve Kerr has an expert ability to use a guy like LeBron because he's been using a way, way, way worse player than LeBron and Draymond Green in that situation as well. And Bron can do all the stuff that Draymond can do. Is just 100 times better player. Well, I'll say 100 times better player. He's a much better player than Draymond. So I'm just saying, like, there's a way to do this. And yeah, occasionally, yes. Yeah, like if you bump into like a really big, but I mean, you're not stopping anybody anyways in the paint right now. Jock Landale is getting off on you. I don't even know what Jokic is going to do your next game.
Yo, if you didn't know that Jock Landale played in the NBA, you would think he was awesome.
That's what we do, man. We Houston develop our players, man.
If you didn't know that Jock Landale played in the NBA, you'd be like, yo, this dude is nice as hell.
That man, Jock Landale, was so bad for us for like 6 months of the season. Well, for like 4 months of the season,
bro. This entire video is about to be Mars doing victory laps on all of us because he got Jock Landale to talk about with the Olympics, and then he's gonna have Reed Shepherd to talk about on the next segment. It's just great. It's great. Everything's coming up Houston right now.
Wow.
We in a good spot.
I do want to say I got Steph at the top of my list. How do we feel about Steph being the number 1 option on this team?
I'm fine with it. I like him.
Always fine.
I debated
like
between him and KD anyway. So yeah,
I ain't never gonna say no. Steph's my number one option. Oh, man,
what are we gonna do? No,
no, we're not gonna win gold. Like,
And that,
cool.
Mars,
that's
we
also
can't
the
do
thing
that.
too.
No. I guess, Mars, if you twist my arm, fine. Curry is the first option.
yeah, like, I mean, I guess
Whatever.
I'd obviously rather have Derek White, but man, if it has to be Steph, I mean,
there's some real first world problems shit that we're debating
That's
right now. You
that's
know
a
that,
fact.
right?
facts.
That's a fact.
South Sudan about to run through Wenya
chill, this-
Gabriel, and we like
This sound like
Steph or KD. Like,
chill. This sound like one of them good problems.
That's what it sounds like in the words of Mr. Marlo Stansfield. Yep.
Bro, in the words of Charles Barkley, I don't know who's on Angola, but Angola's in trouble.
Mhm.
You remember that quote? Yeah, that's basically I don't know who's playing for the rest of the world, but they're in trouble. This is a really good team.
you guys got some very good problems. If man, KD or Steph, you know what? Maybe Jason Tatum. I mean, yeah,
Maybe Anthony Edwards.
And that's the reason, that part right there, Mars, is the reason why I think that they're going to win gold. Because the drop off whenever any other team, Serbia, France, Spain, Germany, whoever their rotation guy is, it's not close to what it is with Team USA, because you're replacing Anthony Edwards with Devin Booker. Like when you take Anthony Davis off the floor, you take Anthony Davis off the floor for Bam Adebayo. Like no team is doing that. There aren't other teams in the league. There aren't other teams in the Olympics doing that right now. So
here's a quick question. Just like I don't know. I don't want to get too off topic because I know we got to discuss all that other stuff. But of all the guys that got left off Team USA, which includes Jaylen Brown,
could
which
you still
includes-
win gold?
could you still win gold with USA's B team? Because frankly, I'm looking at USA's B team, whatever the hell that would be, and that could include guys like Paolo, Scotty Barnes.
no, because we just saw that in the FIBA. We just saw that in the FIBA.
No. That was Cameron Johnson and Bobby Portis. That was
I'm talking like no. That's the G. That's whatever the hell that was. No, I'm
So
talking.
that wasn't the B team with Halliburton and Brunson.
no, because they had Bobby Portis and Cam Johnson.
They had a couple players that, well, obviously Tyrese Halliburton's on this team, so you can say he's an A player. Yeah, but outside of that, chill, that wasn't the best we could put together.
Walker Kessler is not a B team big. Chet Holmgren and Evan Mobley exist.
Chet Holmgren exists. Think about it. Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Brunson. You got so many other players we could throw on that list, man.
Kyrie
Irving, James Harden. Kawhi Leonard's at home now, so let's just bring him back. Paul George, little reunion there. DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox,
Donovan Mitchell,
Donovan Mitchell. My God, Spider Mitchell on your team as an afterthought. You'll realize, like, friggin'. I think there's guys on USA's F team that will be star players on other teams. Whenever someone says American basketball's in trouble, blah blah blah.
You just said it, Penn. Green. Isn't he a starter for the Australian team?
No, he comes off the bench.
But he's one of them. He's in Exum.
Josh Green and Dante Exum both were Dallas rotation players,
right?
International minutes.
Huge. They play huge minutes on that Australian team.
I'm
looking. Dyson Daniels wasn't getting a bunch of minutes this year, and he's Australia's best player. But
yeah, I can't believe that they come at T-Stable. I really think he will play a crucial role in their team, playing the 3 and the 4. I know obviously he's not the best shooter, but the defense he will provide behind Josh Giddey and alongside Dyson Daniels. Because remember, he was getting busy. I think it was in the FIBAs. He led like the FIBAs and steals or something like that. He was getting busy and he looked good out there.
That may be the worst shooting team in FIBA if you add Matisse Thybulle to Dyson Daniels.
Ron told me Matisse Thybulle's a floor spacer.
He is.
Oh, shit. We didn't even talk about Trae Young. Trae Young could be on that team. I'm not trying to load it up with guards, but
now we're gonna lose. Now you just ruined the whole team. Goddamn, Penn.
DeJounte Murray, Zion Williamson.
There we go.
Oh, we didn't even mention
Zion. Oh my God.
I mean,
you know,
mind you, Brandon Ingram, even though he didn't look too good,
he was hurt. He wasn't
like Brandon Ingram still.
Like
Jaylen Brown, obviously. Jaylen Brown.
Oh yeah,
that's a crazy team. I swear. Like if there is definitely that's a medal team. So USA's B team would be a medal team.
If USA could bring
USA's
3 teams,
C
they'd probably
would be a
win
medal
gold,
team.
silver, and
Could
bronze.
be a medal team.
If USA could bring 3 teams, they'd probably win gold, silver, and bronze.
Well, I I mean, that might be downplaying Team Canada, Team France, and Team Serbia, in my opinion. But what I'm saying is they would be contention medal teams. Like they would be good.
Sure.
Like they would be teams that would have a chance at. They might even beat Team USA's A team. That's the crazy.
In a single game, yeah. In a single game, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people don't realize. It's like it is a single game, which means hot shooting, cold shooting, these things matter. We already saw PJ Washington get crazy and then go crazy, go the other way. So, one bad shooting game and that's it. This is like the NCAA tournament,
That's
right?
why I can't wait for this Team USA to have a bad shooting game and get bronze.
But you know what's crazy though? Joel Embiid just realized this is gonna be like 6 straight elimination games for him.
Oh, dear.
That's anxiety.
Can he handle it? We're about to find out.
Can we stop hating on my guy Joel, please? Like the best player on Team USA. Like, can we stop hating on him, please? Thank
He's
you.
made of glass, Mars.
In theory, he is the best player on Team USA.
Not for
I'll give
international
you that.
basketball, but in terms of NBA players,
I would
he's the
still
best.
send him
Made of
home.
glass,
I would
Mars.
still send him home.
Oh,
though.
so would I. So I don't think he's a great fit for this team. But I was with Dion when he said that AD made more sense for them because it made sense. But Dion doesn't get the respect he deserves. But yeah, I don't think Joel's a great fit for this team. Now, as a basketball player, I still think he's the best player on the team. But for international basketball, it's different than NBA basketball, and your role in the Philadelphia 76ers.
Bro,
is
if
different than your
Dion
role
had
for
his
Team
way,
USA.
Savannah would be on the team, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
Bronny
Bronny would be the starting point guard. Bryce would be the starting 2 guard. Bron would play the 3.
Savannah play 3. Bron play 4.
And then what's his daughter's name? Juri?
She too small to play the 3. We got to put her at the lead guard.
She got to play point.
Bryce got to play center.
Savannah can do anything.
Focus, Ox.
My
God
bad.
damn. We're trying to build a
my bad.
unit over here, Ox. We're trying to build a unit. How we going to get anything done? How?
My bad.
Don't
Focus.
forget Rich
I'm
Paul
gonna
coming
go
off
back.
the bench.
I'm gonna go back to the chat. My bad.
Or is Rich Paul coaching? Yeah, Rich Paul coaching.
Rich Paul coaching. Matt,
Gloria James will be the 6th woman. Yeah.
Gloria's there.
6th woman.
His
I
mom,
can't
his
say
mom.
last. Yeah, his mom. Yeah.
No, his mom.
Is Delonte West getting a tryout? No.
No.
All right, so here's what we gonna do.
Here he go, man.
Here's what we gonna do. Team USA plays Serbia tomorrow. They actually play during the show, so they will start at, I know it's 12 Pacific or 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. So we'll be live tomorrow watching the game like we did yesterday. So that shall be interesting. You guys know how I feel about Serbia. And obviously they're playing against USA. So this should be it's a friendly game. This is only their 3rd game. So this should be interesting to see how it goes. But I'm curious to see how US deals with Jokic and the other pieces that they got over there. And I'm also curious to see what Serbia looks like matched up against the Monstars. So
Penn, who you rooting for?
Who am I rooting for?
No, Penn.
He's Serbian.
Because I'm Serbian.
Yeah.
I'm rooting
Don't
for
act
Serbia.
like that don't matter, Penn.
Yeah, and I thought that was a valid question. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Serbia.
Okay.
Do you think Serbia has a shot tomorrow?
Yeah, they always have a shot. You got.
Do
to
you think Serbia will win? Like, let's not do that. Do you think Serbia will win?
I think they have a shot.
I'm gonna take
The
that
real-
as a no.
Okay.
So
the real question is, do you think that Joel Embiid will duck that game?
he is not
If I see Joel load manage against her, I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be funny as hell.
I mean,
If he's not
above
available
it.
to play,
every player has their kryptonite, and I think Anthony Davis,
Stolen
Joker is
MVP, man.
Anthony
Stolen
Davis,
MVP.
Joker is his kryptonite.
Oh.
So I think Joker goes after him. But does Joel Embiid go, yo, I'm good to play? And if I'm good to play, does he go after Joker? That's my question.
I
Go
mean,
after him.
Yes, go after Joker.
He better leave that boy alone.
What kind
Yeah.
of fantasy?
I mean,
what kind of fantasy league are you
Embiid
playing
has played
right
well
now
against
where
the
Joel
Nuggets in the
Embiid has
NBA?
some dog in him? What are you talking about?
Like Joel, what?
Yeah, we know we
Talk
not
that
gonna-
talk,
playing
kid.
Joel right
No,
now.
no,
Yeah, we
Talk
we
that
Why
not
are
gonna
we
act
playing
like
Joel?
when the game is in Philly, Embiid don't be going after Jokic. We not gonna act like
We
that.
not gonna act like Joel is a Rottweiler. He's not.
Okay, but Joel
Yes,
didn't
he is,
tore.
I remember
he
he gave
didn't
them
toe
before
Jokic up.
7 and
He didn't
18.
give
I
Jokic everything he can handle.
I remember he gave them
some
before
dog
7
in
and
him. It ain't
18.
no
I remember
Rottweiler,
watching
though.
that game, man. I remember watching that game.
He like the shot
Joel
of the lad.
Embiid has made us second guess Jokic. He has. So like
Maybe
let's
made
not
you.
act like let's not act like that's not the case.
Joel
Second
Embiid
guess
has made us
Jokic and what?
second guess
Like how? What do
Jokic.
you mean by that, Ron? Could you
Has
please,
made us second guess
elaborate?
Jokic. Yes.
Could you
Joel
elaborate on
Embiid
that?
is Joel
Because
Embiid has stepped on the court and looked better than Nikola Jokic, matched up head to head. That has happened.
What dream
How
did you
often?
have? Did you wake up like?
All right.
Every time that game in Philly, Joel played better.
Did you bump your head before you fell asleep?
All
But he
right.
coincidentally
not
comes up
supposed
with an injury when they go to Denver.
In
Right.
the immortal words
Ron,
of Mars,
you know
Yeah,
when
Jokic's
you
better.
No,
hit
we
your head,
get
you're
hurt.
supposed to go to
We get
sleep,
hurt.
you know
It's
what
what
I'm
it
saying?
is.
That's
We get
you
hurt.
can fall into
5
a
straight
coma
years,
doing that.
Mars.
We get hurt. I don't know what to tell you. We get hurt.
Ron got a
It's not my
concussion.
fault.
He
We were
tripping right
injured. It just so happened that Denver was on the schedule around the time I was hurt.
For 5 straight
Coincidence.
years. Okay. I can get with
Yeah,
that. Sure.
I mean, you just said he made a glass. He injured every year, so why you not
Okay.
shocked that he's injured?
He's not
He
injured when I come to town, but when he got to come to my city, he pulls up lame. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
you acting like he just missed the Denver game and then comes back. Like he's out for like 2
5
weeks.
straight
and Denver's
years?
just on the schedule.
5 straight
you know
years,
what?
Mars.
Let me prove a point real quick because you guys
Here
playing
we
with my
go.
guy Joel right
Hey,
now.
what
Here
did he
we go.
saying, Chip? Let's
I don't
go to the
appreciate this.
numbers.
You guys-
I
you
do
guys playing
want
with
to
my
say
guy
that Team
Joel.
Serbia pulled up to the friendly game.
No,
by
no,
the
you
way.
guys playing on my guy Joel. So
The last time he played it, I think
yeah,
the
it
last
was
time he played it.
2019, November
Yeah.
2019. That's the
That was
last
it.
time he played.
That
Yeah.
was hold
Yeah,
on.
it was
That was
bad.
pre-pandemic.
Yes. The next year, the game against the game
Bro, that
at
was
Denver.
pre-Biden.
So we got the 2020-2021 season. He misses the game where Philly played Denver in Philly. So that's not a problem people have. He misses that game. Then the next time they play Denver is in a stretch of games where he has missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 games prior to Denver on the road, he had missed.
Sure.
He was already injured. He missed 8 straight games, then misses the Denver game, then misses another game, then came back. So that was a stretch of 10 games where he was out the whole time. He didn't just duck Denver because he was hurt for 8 games prior. So we're not going to play with my guy
He
Joel.
had the 8 games out so that he had a plausible excuse.
If
to
we gonna
duck
reach
the
that
Denver
hard,
game.
Yes,
then
we're
go
not
for it.
reaching, Mars. You know why we're not
He's-
reaching? Because I'm
so
not,
he
if I'm not
missed
mistaken.
eight games in a row.
Did he
He
not
missed
miss?
8
on
games
his
in a
schedule,
row
and he
so
said,
that he could
"Screw
miss
this, I'm
Denver
out for the whole
and it
month."
wouldn't look bad.
Mars,
And you
did he-
gonna tell me this isn't just clear hate? That's crazy.
Mars,
You're
did he
telling
not
me-
miss the game
You're
against
telling
Denver?
me
And
he
like,
missed 8 games in a row so that he could miss Denver and he had plausible deniability that he just ducked Denver. Is that what you're gonna try and convince me?
that logic would work,
Absolutely.
Mars, if he didn't immediately play against Golden State like 2 games later.
No. You said 5 years. I'm going back to 21. 21,
Right.
he missed 8 games. Then the Denver game was the 9th, and that
Right.
was an 8-game stretch of a 10-game total that he
Sure.
missed in a row after
Right.
being hurt. Then the 2021-2022 season, he misses the Denver game after missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games prior to the
Right.
Denver game. Then
Right.
after the Denver game, he misses another 1, 2, 3. He was hurt. That was a 9-game stretch where Joel was hurt. He did not duck Denver. He was hurt. He was unavailable for the game. That's the 22 season. Now let's go to 2023. So let's find where they missed the Denver game. Bear with me. Gotta find it.
This nigga Joel got more injuries than a starting running back.
2023 is a time where you can say he ducked Denver. You know why? Because he played the Phoenix game in 2 days prior. Then he played the Dallas game after the fact. You can say valid reasoning. He ducked Denver in 2023.
He just forgot
is
to
fine.
duck the 4
Then
games.
last,
before it.
then
and then
this
last
past
season-
season,
last
then this
season-
past season, we know he was hurt the whole year. But let's
Right.
see, let's find the Denver game. So he played Denver at home. Obviously, he had 41, 10 assists. They won. Nice.
Yo, bro,
Then they
you just
played
making
Denver
this
next.
way worse.
This is we remember the stretch of the
Hey,
season.
Mars, they played
We
Denver.
remember the stretch of the season
Yep.
because he had that 70-point game against the Spurs. Then he wasn't meant to play against Indiana. He was a game time decision. He played. Then he misses the Denver game. That's the next game he missed. Then he misses a Portland game. So he missed the Denver game. Everyone's like, he ducked Denver again. He then missed the following Portland game.
Damn, he's
So
ducking,
right after
he's
Denver,
ducking
he missed the
DeAndre
Portland.
Ayton too?
Right after
Yeah,
right
he
after
missed the
right
Portland
after
game.
Portland.
Then he played that Warriors game. Everyone saw he clearly was not healthy. He was out there. He then got hurt again. I'm not saying he got hurt again because he was clearly not healthy because Kuminga landed on his leg. Freak injury. But anyone who watched that Golden State game could tell you, anyone who watched that game with 2 eyes and isn't just hating could tell you Joel was not healthy. He was playing in that game clearly compromised. So he missed the Denver game because he was not healthy. That's why he missed the Portland game. Following that, he tried to play against Golden State. Again, he was a game time decision. He played, was not healthy, and then he ended up missing the next 3 months because obviously, not 3 months, but you know what I mean. He ended up missing the next month and a half because of the meniscus, all of that stuff. He ducked Denver maybe once last year. The 2023, this past season, 24, he did not duck Denver. 22, he did not duck Denver. 21, he did not duck Denver.
Bro.
And in the 19-20 season, He played against Denver on the road.
Our
The only
bodies,
time you could
our
say he
bodies
ducked
know
was the
our bodies
22-23
know.
season.
Our
I'm sorry,
bodies know when we are in threat. Y'all remember?
wasn't
Why does he play
a-
against the-
Y'all remember?
why does he
y'all
play
remember
against
when
the
you were in
Warriors,
grade
Mars?
school and you
Mars, why does
magically
he play
got
against the
sick right
Warriors?
before the big exam? That's exactly
You have to
what
ask him
Joel
why he
Embiid-
played against the Warriors, but he clearly
Why did he
shouldn't
play
have
against the Warriors? But he
He
didn't
clearly
play against
shouldn't
the
have
Warriors.
played.
down to avoid the
clearly shouldn't have
humiliation
played.
of losing that, bro.
We actually did, Mars. You and I actually did the Philly. We did the Philly Denver game.
Yeah,
And
the
we
Paul
were-
Reed masterclass. Yeah,
Yes, we did that game, and we were really looking forward to Joe playing. Nope,
yeah, because
Fellas,
he got scratched like 15 minutes
it
before
was a
tip-off, I
right.
remember.
It was a game time decision.
Again, yeah, he was a game time decision like
My fault,
every
Ron.
game. He was a game time decision before balling too.
We
Still
gotta
playing.
move on, y'all. Y'all make sure that you like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, what the hell are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Also, too, we got off air, not necessarily content, but we got off air things that you can engage in here in the PC community. Right here, this group chat is pinned right at the top of the chat. Join it. We talk about literally everything. It's a bunch of different channels in there. You will have the time of your life. Download Telegram, join this group community chat, and you will have fun with some of your favorite panelists here on Player's Choice. Scan the QR code below pin. Today is the absolute last day to join the PCL. It starts on July 24th, and we need 2 more contestants. And it could be you if you want to come and debate against some of the greats. Scan that QR code, fill out the form, and we may select you. And Mike, fill it out and stop ducking. And when you fill it out, don't fill it out with all caps. Dub host Ron sent through a super chat.
You were surprised.
This dub host guy said Reed, Castle, Bub, Shannon, Ware, best summer league rookies. Y'all agree?
They've been great. Yeah, I don't know if I have a top 5, but yeah,
I
probably.
don't have a top 5 neither.
I've liked Tristan De Silva in Orlando.
I like Dalton Connect too.
I think he's been horrible.
He wasn't really.
And I wanted to bring that up when we're talking about Bronny. Bronny getting all this attention as a 55th pick has somehow just made it that Dalton Connect can be egregious and no one's talking about him. Like, no one's even mentioned the fact that I think Dalton has been horrible. Defensively, he's been just as bad as I thought he would be. He's really bad in terms of playmaking. He sees the floor terribly, and the jump shot's not falling, which doesn't help. And
That's
the
what I think, yeah. I think he's just
clear
a
lack of
bucket,
explosion on drives is evident. He can't get by anyone.
He just dunked on somebody yesterday, Mars. What are you talking about?
Getting a head of steam is different than driving by someone. His inability, like, this is the issue I had with Brandon Miller before he got drafted. A head of steam, he can get up and he's explosive. The ability to actually burst by someone or use your dribble to get by someone, get an angle to the rim, he doesn't have that. His ability he's explosive with a runway.
Okay.
But his actual explosiveness in terms of functionality in the half court,
but just facing somebody up and blowing by him.
He doesn't have it. Like, it's evidently bad. Like, Summer League doesn't tell me a lot. I tell you this about percentages all the time. I think Dalton Connection can shoot. But the scoring, I don't know if he can really score at the NBA level. He can shoot. I don't know if he can score at the NBA level.
Y'all be sure to visit www.playerschoicemerch.com and grab you something nice. While you at it, get something for your mama, your granny, your sister, your cousins, etc., etc., etc. DSG Piccolo just sent through a super chat. He said Jaylen Brown didn't say anything crazy. Bronny is not a pro, at least for now. Bron saying Bronny could play for the Lakers during the season also didn't help. People are ready to hate, right?
Jaylen Brown is a pro, so he know what a pro look like. He's been in the league long enough. So for him saying that, why can't you say that somebody is not a pro? Why not? Because it's James's son. He's right. He's not a pro. Now he's not. We can't say nothing about James and still love him. I don't get it.
But saying 60-year-old MJ could beat him in a one-on-one
he can.
That's hate.
That's
but I do.
Okay,
hold on. Bronny is an NBA level.
You want to call that hate? Let me ask you a question. Would you bet $1,000 that Bronny could beat Michael Jordan right now?
I'll put a stack on Bronny James to beat 62-year-old Jordan.
I will put all $3 I got on that.
Yes, I would. I'd put a stack on him to beat Jordan.
The reason I'm calling it hate is because you're creating a hypothetical one-on-one in which you're bringing up a 60-year-old saying he would win.
62, Mars.
When ain't no one asked you to bring up a 60-year-old to say, oh, this is 60-year-old better. That's why I'm calling it hate.
I started not because you may be wrong at 47 years old.
Yeah, not because you may be wrong, but because you went to that level is why I'm calling it hate. Not because you're undoubtedly wrong. I do think Bronny would win just because I don't even know what physical shape MJ's in right now. I don't know. But I think that's why it's being called hate.
Yo,
now,
Michael
I
Jordan
genuinely
could
believe.
literally
I genuinely
We're
believe
talking about
my-
Jordan, the
Mars,
strongest
my
mind that
Leangelo
basketball has
Ball
ever
questions are valid
seen.
questions.
Mars, I'm going to be honest with you. 30. Let's see, that was 1992. That's 32 years ago. That would mean that Jerry West was 50. I think he was 50, 52, 53 years old. 19-year-old Chill, I'll bust Jerry West's ass at 55 years old. Yes, I would.
I'd hope so.
100% I would. So if you
Come
put
on, you guys
so
aren't
if you put
factoring in the
62
basketball
years-
mentality that
Get out
these
of here,
guys
bro. Put
have.
62-year-old
Come on,
Michael
man.
Jordan in
Chill.
front of 19-year-old.
I'm genuinely asking you, Chill. I'm
If
genuinely
we do
asking
winners outs,
do
Jordan
you
wins.
think you in your when you was playing D1 basketball, do you think you were better than Bronny is now?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
And
Michael
we
Jordan's better
always
than Jerry West.
always
so.
play make it take it, bro. All right, that's always loser never gets the ball.
You're not gonna get the
Bronny's
ball
not
off
a
that score.
one-on-one type of player, dude. Like you're putting him in the worst context. He's a connective playmaker and a connective team defender. This is not an optimal setting. And also he's giving up a lot of weight, a lot of strength against Michael Jordan. I'm sorry. I've played against old people to know they're not as bad in a one-on-one setting as they are in a team setting. One-on-one is where Michael Jordan would thrive. Are you kidding me? D Wade would cook him right now too. D Wade would cook him. Melo would cook him.
Yeah,
Fellas,
D Wade is only
we
5
gotta
years
move on,
removed from
fellas.
the
We
league.
I got to get to these super chats. My man Brax, he said, "Y'all think Bronny getting rookie haste?"
Yes.
Apparently, I heard they don't really do that no more in the league. But I think that's just because there's less clear vets. Like Garrett Temple is not really on every team at this point, so I feel like there's just less vets. So rookie hazing isn't as common.
He's definitely got to bring donuts and stuff like that. He definitely has.
Yeah,
to
but
yes,
just like rookie duties. But I don't think he's gonna get hazed. I don't think that really happens anymore.
Quan has been a member for 12 months. He said, "What happened to not taking summer league seriously?"
We knew Bronny wasn't very good before summer league.
There you have it. Tyrone Winston has been a member for 15 months. He said, "Chill, did we forget 2021 Olympic KD? Come on, OG."
That was
Olympics
3 years
weren't in
ago.
2021.
That was 3 years ago.
Was it? Oh, the pandemic.
Yeah,
My
it
bad.
was in
My
21.
bad. My bad.
It
They
got
delayed it.
3 years ago.
My bad.
I mean,
He's not the same guy as he was 3 years ago. KD
He's
wasn't.
still really good.
I'm not, that's
I
not
could make
part
a
of
strong
argument.
argument. I can make a strong argument. Steph has regressed more in the last 3 years than KD has.
He has.
So
He's also older.
yes, but just to Cho's point about Steph can be a higher option than KD. I think I'd argue Steph's regressed more, and also KD's game is more suited for the international game. On top of that, so
We got a new member, fellas. The one and only A-Shun. Big shout out to A-Shun, man. It's my cousin, man. We go back to diapers, man. Shout out to A-Shun. I miss you, boy. Brack said, between Ben Simmons and Zion, which one of them would you rather have fully met their predictions / expectations?
my expectations, Ben Simmons. The overall like media and consensus expectations, Zion. But yeah, the media who said Zion was the next LeBron, I would have rather Zion meet their expectations. But for what I thought Ben Simmons was going to be, I would take Ben Simmons because I think Ben Simmons was going to be better than Zion.
I don't know why, bro. I was really low on Ben Simmons. I thought Ben Simmons was weak as hell. I don't know what it was. It's about it. I was really low on Ben Simmons. And then around 2018, I went. I had to go see him in person. When I finally watched him in person, was like, nah, dude's cold. I flipped like that quick. But then after that, this happened. So
I hadn't seen a 6'10" human that fast in transition. Like with the ball in his hand. Like this was like before Giannis's breakout. Like that good in transition with the ball in his hands. I hadn't seen that before. It was ridiculous. And then Giannis came along. It's like, oh, I'm 6'11", Euro stepping from the 3-point line. Hey, but with Ben Simmons, I hadn't like that transition playmaking pressure on the defense. Jesus, I hadn't seen that before.
I think
Ben Simmons.
the defense moves Simmons up. His defense is great.
Ben, you haven't dropped no summer highlights yet. The streets need these.
No,
man.
because this year, every year he drops summer highlights and then he's not good. This year he's not dropping summer highlights. All NBA caliber.
I need some Ben Simmons threes in my life right now.
Redemption tour.
That's it for me. I like to watch dudes play in person because it's like it's just way different to me. Like I feel like I can gauge better than on TV. On top of that, you can really see how the difference in like size. Like on TV, dudes look like regular size. You know what I'm saying, or smaller. Nice. So you can really see which one of the guards are actually like big guards. Like you know what I'm saying. Like the first time I saw Chris Paul and LeBron was during the summer. They weren't even playing, but I never would have thought that Chris Paul was built like that. You know what I'm saying? Like dudes just it's a lot different. You know.
Trash Pro said, "What does Draymond do at an elite level?"
What?
Communicate on defense, move his feet, switch multiple positions, set screens, pass the basketball.
He's a really good defensive rebounder.
Yep.
Keep going. Y'all are
physicality,
main things.
Short ball passing.
Close. Very close.
Transition.
He attempts to murder
outlet passes.
Well, he doesn't do that at an elite level because he has not succeeded at murdering anybody. So
no, he's a very good attempted murderer.
No, he's not elite at that.
I mean, if you're good at attempted murder, you succeeded the murder.
At some point,
otherwise you're bad at
attempted murder.
Yeah, he's bad at murder, but he's good at attempted murder.
Okay, he's good at trying to kill people, but bad at succeeding.
Right. Yeah.
He's a really good screen setter too.
What? What are we doing?
I don't know, but we gave him too much flowers.
D-Bill said, I gotta go with Ox. It's not that complicated. Basically, he's explaining emotion offense. Cutting is a must if you aren't being guarded on the wing.
Dallas don't run a motion offense because most heliocentric teams don't run motion. That's why they have some of the lowest percentage of actions coming off ball screens and stuff.
Was this the same person that just asked if what Draymond does well? Was that the same person?
I think it was a different person.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It sounded like the same person. Okay.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily trying to explain a motion offense. I was trying to say you have to move without the ball. You know what I'm saying?
If you're just explaining basketball principles.
Yeah. If you're just getting in the way, I feel like when you and Chill Pin, you guys said that cutting through was going to get in the way. I feel like being a non-shooter, standing in the corner on strong side is getting in the way. So just moving, getting out of the way is what I was trying to explain. So yeah, I guess in a sense you can look at that as a motion offense, but that's not necessarily what I was trying to explain.
All right, moving along,
Shout
fellas.
out what's up with your boy?
The next super chat is Respect Steph. Respect Steph said, so Tatum decided I'm not going to chuck threes. I'm going to get to the basket and use my size. Dub Tatum playing amazing for USA.
Yes, he is playing great.
Tatum's a good basketball player. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk? Shout out JT. Next super chat I got from 7 Gram Swish said, Bron did say he was better than NBA players.
He was wrong.
I mean, it depends. It depends when you decide to take Bron's word for something. I mean, guys will call Bron a liar all the time, but then he says this, and it's like, oh, well, Bron said this, but then when Bron says he doesn't have input on free agents, well, Bron's lying. So you just pick and choose when you want to believe him. That helps your agenda to hate on him even more.
Yo, I seen like it was a tweet or a meme or some type of troll, and it was saying that Bron was saying that he had a bad feeling about the Trump rally. He knew something was gonna happen. But I thought that shit was real. I was like, bro, no way. But then I realized, like, oh, okay, this is fake. It's fake.
Y'all just play too much. Speaking of playing too much, hey, Chill.
Yep.
Remember that one day you called the chat a bunch of dodo birds?
Every last one of them.
And it's fitting, right?
Every last one of them. Mine. This dude's walking off the cliff. Every last one of them right behind each other.
Oh, man. Shout out all the dodo goofies in the chat,
Did you see what
man.
you just called James B, man?
Nah, I missed that. I literally, I promise you I didn't see that, but what did he call him? I would love to see or hear.
Oh, fuck. The water
balloon. Pat Bev's going overseas.
It's going to
for
Israel.
a lot of dough, too. For a lot of dough.
Get that money, man.
For a lot of dough.
Free Palestine.
I do not blame him. Not at all, do I?
Go get that money, Pat.
Brian Pumper said Flight versus Bronny. ... I got Flight.
We reaching.
Deem the Dream 91 said, name one NBA skill Bronny has. We need to be honest about what this is. What this is. There are low-level D1 players that outperformed Bronny. Respect the league.
I think he has the NBA level defensive motor. I think his motor on defense is good.
Not so far in summer league, and
I just don't think his confidence is there. And the reason why his confidence isn't there is because he doesn't know how to play yet, particularly at that level.
I mean, if you know you're not good enough
player.
to be confident.
He's a smart player. It's just unfortunately he's doing a lot of stupid stuff on the basketball court right now. Even defensively, there's a lot of mistakes to clean up from his summer league tape. It's crazy. He's underperformed what I was expecting, majorly.
D9, dodo birds are not extinct. If you look around in the chat where you are, just do this. Look around. Look in front of you. Look to the side of you. Look behind you. I promise you, it's a few dodo birds right there. They're right next to you. Come on, man. You got to have awareness. JD Sway said, Dub panel, biggest Ox fan here. Respect.
Oh.
Finally somebody with some sense.
D Bell said basketball.
Math is hard. I get it.
Marcus
It's
FRM.
very easy. It's actually more simple than basketball.
What, basketball?
Just math in general. Numbers, it's real easy shit, you know.
No, it's not.
Marcus FRM 626 said, came in late. So who are you guys' number one options on Team USA?
KD. I said KD.
KD.
Steph.
I said Tatum.
All right.
Surprise.
Respect Steph said, Bronny going to make NBA top 100 list. Nasty work.
I doubt it.
Marcus FRM 626 said, hell, Bryce James is even worse than this.
No, he's not.
He's more aggressive.
What is he? I think this is his senior year, Bryce.
Yeah, that's why I'm low on Bryce now. Chill. I thought Bryce was a year. I thought he was going into his junior year.
No, he's going
now
into
that I know he's going into the senior year, I'm not too sure about Bryce.
Why not, Ox? Because we ain't talking about a major Division I player. We talking about a mid-major Division I player. That's what he is.
That's fine.
That's
cool.
what he is.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I think Bryce got game. Like just like I thought I still think Bronny got game. It's just like at what level. See, I'm not of that mind that if you're not a superstar in the NBA that you're just garbage. You know what I'm saying? I respect all levels of basketball. You know what I'm saying? I realize like you might just not be that. You know what I'm saying? You might got to go play. You might not even be a EuroLeague guy. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? See, if you a hooper. There's really good basketball players that never make it to a top level, even overseas, bro. It's people playing second division overseas that'll cook a lot of dudes. You know what I'm saying? Even some guys in the league. Shit, I know.
Yep.
Hey, somebody in the chat said PC Shaq better than Bronny. Listen.
Shit.
Listen. Hey, Shaq can make Bronny take his...
Ron, you don't gotta do that.
Oh,
yes, he is.
I'm talking about hang your boots up.
Yes,
hey,
he is.
I done seen Shaq give it to people that y'all know that we talk on this show every day.
Yes,
I watched Shaq put Devin Booker in a casket. I watched Shaq jump from the dotted line. Devin Booker tried to chase down block. He cocked it back all the way to here. Boom! Shut the whole ASU gym down. The whole ASU gym down. I didn't watch Shaq give Jamal Crawford and Brandon Roy 30. Now we got cheated by the refs.
Playing for Olympiacos is not. That's
not how that goes, Mark.
Playing for Olympiacos is not a small thing. Not at all.
Marcus FRM 626 said Bryce averages 5 points per game in high school. Pin. Stop it.
Does he really?
He doesn't average a lot. Yeah, he doesn't average a lot. The highlights come out anytime he gets like a step back jumper or like something.
In fairness, I haven't watched a lot of Bryce play.
But he really scores like maybe 2 times a game, and like one of them's a cool bucket, and it just gets clipped. And it's like, oh, more potential than Bronny. It's like,
see, even with that being said, though, too, you know, you also got to look at who are you playing with, who's taking more. Or, you know, he could be playing with some 5-star dudes. That's really the, you know, and he still probably got game though.
Brax said J. Cole or Bronny?
No,
Bronny.
Yeah, we ain't
J.
doing
Cole a
that.
call hooper though. J. Cole. I'm not saying he's better than Bronny. Chill. I'm just
He
saying
can
J.
play.
Cole
He can
got
play.
game.
He
No?
can play. He can play.
Man, after
No
this
doubt.
whole Kendrick and Drake thing, I see J. Cole's not with the drama, so unfortunately, I gotta go with Bronny. D Bell said, "Get Penn off the panel." He chatting
About what?
What part? What was that about?
Yeah.
There's always one, or in my case, 50. But it's all good. I don't take it personally.
You can't take it personally.
Kobe Ashai said, "Devontae Friga or Bronny in 1v1."
So who's Devontae Friga?
Right.
Basketball content creator on YouTube.
Huh.
Rod said, "Penn wants us to believe that he's not a Bronny hater."
I'm not.
Same way,
You
same way.
are. You
Say,
are.
say,
No,
same
I'm
way
not.
you are a Fred VanVleet.
I promise. No, okay, there's a resolution to that Fred VanVleet
Here we
thing.
go.
I got
Here we
over
go.
it. I
Here we go.
apologize.
Everyone he hates, he apparently only sings their praises. Everyone he doesn't hate, he only speaks on their negatives. It's just the coincidence.
That's not true. I'm not a Bronny hater. I promise.
Mm.
I'm
So
not.
who do you like more, Bronny or Fred?
Fred? What? Who do I what?
Who do you like more, Bronny or Fred?
Not who's better.
As a
Not who's
better
better.
player?
Finn.
Yeah.
No, who do you like more? Who do you prefer?
It's tomato. It's both. Like
Yeah,
to me-
exactly. And you hate
Oh,
Fred.
you hate.
I,
you
no,
said
I don't
Yes.
hate Fred anymore. I don't hate Fred anymore. You called me out on it. A lot of times you're like, yo, you don't hate this guy. And then I thought about it for a while. I was like, yo, bro, for real, I don't hate the guy. You're right.
Yo, trying to
realized it.
convince
I realized it.
somebody that
I
you hate him is
don't hate him. I don't hate him anymore. I did hate him for a while. It took a while, but once he left, I was like, I was good with it. I'm happy he's in Houston, but I don't hate him anymore.
Marcus FRM 626 said, "Chill. When's the next time you live streaming?"
Tomorrow night, 7:00.
Y'all
How
pull
come
up.
you don't ask me when I'm live streaming? El Marcus, man.
Because you don't even post content no more.
'Cause
Mars.
no one asks for content.
You're doing the people a disservice, Mars.
No one
Yeah.
asks for content.
Mars talks
Man,
nothing.
Man,
If people
Mars
ask for
doesn't
content,
talk
I'd make
sports.
some content. No one be asking me for anything. So
Mars never talks sports.
that's crazy, man.
Mars,
You
you're
wanna
doing the
ask
people a
Joe, you wanna
disservice,
ask me,
bro.
that's crazy.
Go live, bro. Go live.
Cultured Saunders said, "All of us is crazy, chill. It's like 10 at most."
I'll give you that. And it kind of filters down to the rest of you guys when the whole like not everybody is crazy. I apologize. Not all of you dudes.
Mello Williams became a member. Big shout out to Mello. Definitely want to give you a shout out before the show ends. And last but certainly not least, my man D9 chimed in with a super chat to end the show. He said, "Chill. Mind you, Lemmings would be a better comp."
Lemmings, I don't know. Lemmings.
The birds.
Oh, those birds. Oh. Mhm. See what dude wrote in the chat. I literally disrespected Buddy. He calls me an emotional. He's still talking about some stuff over a year ago. You know how when your chick bring up something that happened 6 months ago, that happened 8 months ago, and she's still on it, but then she'll turn around and call you emotional? My man, I am everything. You are everything that you hate. You are everything that you hate. And then you turn around and try to project it on me. You are what the epitome is of a narcissist. But you ain't gonna put that on me. You are goofy. You always will be. I actually apologized to dude on national TV right here. I was like, you know what? I was out of line for what I said, my man. I was wrong for that. Meanwhile, he'll still come up here for hours and do nothing but insult me, call me a goofy, call me dumb, call me a hater, do all of this stuff.
Man,
But in the end, all of this stuff is him. This is who he really is. He hates himself and he tries to project it on me. You are the epitome. You are the epitome, my man, of what you hate. And you're trying to project it on me and you're not. Go to hell. How about that?
Now, put that in your pipe.
Go to hell.
And smoke it, buddy.
Oh, it's crazy.
We
Eternal
out.
Damnation.
Open gym is next. Hey, tomorrow. Tomorrow we will read Buddy's obituary.
Later.
Y'all take it easy.
Later.
Haters.
People like that win when you react, man.